mind.
So many things need to be said. But first, I just want to welcome everyone to March 14th, 2004. Somehow we went back in Bill and Ted's most excellent time machine, and the phone booth took us back to Madison Square Garden because once again, without saying anything further, Goldberg has defeated Brock Lesnar. Yes, that's how we're starting the show.
Goldberg, Goldberg, Goldberg.
And the dulcet tones of Scott will tell you that we have a lot to say tonight. Welcome to another edition of now the WWE Survivor Series podcast. Now, I was joking about the going back to 2004, but sometimes it feels like it really does. We are going to talk about Survivor Series and the really interesting pay-per-view, to say the least, that just finished up about 20 minutes normal than it would, which is interesting. Because it was like, okay, there's not much time left. We've got, this match can't go that long. Goldberg has said he's hurt and everything, and they're playing that up, and they did the video packages, and we had basically an hour main event pretty much. And then we had the Mike Tyson versus Razor Ruddock fight, basically, and all that, all intents and purposes. The thing is, you basically just had that happen, and now we are going to talk about it. So, I am not alone. My name is Sir Owen. You should know that by now. And if you don't, hi, I'm Owen. And joining me, as always, we have Ashley.
We've got a special reporter, by the way, who's just reporting live. Just sent me this on Twitter.
This is Robin. Oh my God, what the fuck just happened? What do you mean what happened? What are you, blind? Jeez.
Yes, we go to John Zandig at the scene of the event.
Yeah.
Crack staff reporter John Corson live from the Air Canada Center.
Exactly.
Also joining us, we have somebody that everyone should know is a new member of the Popcast Network, and that would be Great Traveling Scott.
This is Great Traveling Scott coming to you live on the Popcast Network.
Should I be talking about like Chopper 4 or something after you said that?
Right? Coming to you live from Chapter 4 in Anderson, Indiana.
And oh my God, yes, your eyes aren't deceiving you. We have a blast from our past. Welcome back, Travis Coaster.
Hello. I just want to point out, this does mean the return of Kurt Angle because that was Brock Lesnar's last biggest loss besides Goldberg.
Interesting way to look at it, given the fact that Kurt Angle also lost tonight.
There you go. You're coming back.
I
cannot wait for those "you suck" chants.
I thought I heard some music for a second there, but it might have just been my imagination. So,
Oh no! I mean, all it needed when that bell rang was. That would have summed it up.
right, completely agreed. Again, in chat right now, another member of the Popcast Network, Whit Williams, saying, what the F just happened? I know I normally don't watch the wrestling stuff, but I really want to know what happened.
Before we get started, Owen, it was officially timed at 1 minute, 26 seconds, and 73 milliseconds.
Dear God, that's crazy. And that's just in-ring. That doesn't include the knocking on the door and the entrances and everything, does it?
No.
Goldberg's entrance alone went double the length of this match.
Broxton. Bell to bell.
I think all of us at one point tonight when we had dinner, respectively, went longer than this match.
Oh, my goodness. me playing the shortest game of League of Legends today, which took 2 minutes, went longer than tonight's main event.
My piss was longer earlier.
And he's not Tom Hanks in a League of Their Own either.
There's no crying in baseball!
How could...
Or wrestling, for that matter.
Or the last night of the run.
Oh, I got the best explanation.
Okay.
Brock defeated the Undertaker's streak to put over a video game.
Well, we did have an Undertaker streak in the 2K video game before, so we should have known something was happening.
And maybe...
Did you notice, too, when Goldberg came out, that his name flashed across, and it didn't say Survivor Series or anything? It said 2K17.
Yeah.
Ashley brought that up.
I was like, that's cheesy.
I'm just saying, in 2K17, if you guys haven't played it yet, there is... in the My Career, once you get a title, you can become a Paul Heyman guy.
Nice.
Which means Paul Heyman will be your...
Did anybody see 2K put up with the so-called simulation?
No.
You mean the transitions
Right at the
between
end.
actual or the simulation and the game mode? Oh, okay.
It's the game, and it's just showcase. It's sort of similar to what you saw the trailer for during the pay-per-view,
Right.
Except Roman Reigns comes out, Spears goes, and then Brock F5s him, and then Roman celebrates, and then the box art comes up. It's like, so this is a simulation between them two, and you randomly added that fucker in?
Someone actually went on Twitter and said, what if Roman Reigns came out and speared Goldberg right after he brought his kid on the stage, or into the ring?
No, what he should have done is speared the kid.
Yes.
And then the crowd would have actually cheered.
Actually,
That's the scary thing.
Goldberg, I'm happy you won, man. Congratulations. But why you got to bring your kid out shirtless on national television?
Yeah, I don't know why the kid had to be shirtless, Travis. That makes no sense to me.
Makes no sense whatsoever.
You turned him into David Putty with the New Jersey Devils. Whit says, as someone who didn't start watching wrestling until WrestleMania 29, I've never known Brock not to be a badass.
Oh, by the way, before we continue with this, I just realized something, Owen.
What's that?
Technically,
Okay.
by technicality, I've only missed one podcast for wrestling. Because, well, Hell in a Cell, you guys weren't doing it.
Right.
Because it's been a full year, because my first one with the network was Survivor Series last year.
You are correct.
When it was Taker versus Bray Wyatt, right?
It wasn't the tag match.
Let me see.
Taker and Kane versus the Wyatt family.
I think so.
Oh,
Well,
Blompier.
Will
Okay,
said Brock came in. Go ahead.
Your pre-show was the Dudleys, Goldust, Neville, and Titus.
Yeah.
Versus the Cosmic Wasteland of Stardust, Connor, and Victor. And the Miz was on the pre-show last year.
Yep.
And Bo Dallas. And then Reigns defeated Del Rio for the semifinal for the heavyweight championship. Dean defeated Owens in the semifinal. Ryback, the Usos, and the Lucha Dragons defeated the New Day, Sheamus, and King Barrett in a Survivor Series elimination match. Charlotte defeated Paige by submission, ha giggle, for the Divas Championship, ha giggle. Here's a guy that we saw like no seconds of. Tyler Breeze defeated Dolph Ziggler in a singles match.
Fucking Blompier.
Brothers of Destruction
There
defeated
we
the
go.
Wyatt family.
Yep.
And then Roman defeated Ambrose for the title, and then Sheamus used the cash in.
Yep.
Bloody.
What's Adam saying this time?
Let's go through the stream. What the literal fucking shit? Lesnar beat the streak. Are you fucking mad? Is blood pouring from the sky? What the fuck is going on? Then he calms down a bit and goes,
Just a little bit.
the anger's kicking in. All that hype to Lesnar streak, utter nonsense. Did the video package last longer than the match?
Yes.
And then,
Yeah.
seriously, what the going on?
You guys want to know the times for tonight's matches?
Real
We'll go through them as we go.
Okay.
Yeah. Whit says that sounds like Blantier. He says maybe that's why Brock beat the daylights out of Randy. And Will come in and said Brock came in, got paid, then left. How about that? I'm still hearing myself, so if there's an echo, guys, I apologize.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to fix that problem
Yeah, probably
this
not.
time.
But yeah, I mean, that's how we're starting. We're starting like talking about the main event or lack thereof. I mean, it's like, for example, let's go back to the 90s. And Scott might know where I'm talking about when I go to this.
I might.
Even though, Travis, you might know as well. Like, let's look at, for sake of argument, how about we go back to the Mike Tyson fights? Remember the Mike Tyson fights that lasted like 2 seconds and you paid like $60 for them?
Or more.
Yeah, exactly.
My dad
Or more.
remembers. He's like, I got pissed a few times.
Okay, I remember when Mike Tyson fought Donovan Razor Ruddock. I don't know why I remember this. I always do. I was at the Holiday Inn, and it was on like the big screen. And I remember seeing so many people pissed off when that fight lasted like no time whatsoever. That's how I have to feel the people in the Air Canada Center were feeling when they saw that their main event went less than a minute and a half. So, yeah, I mean...
I really even don't think that the smoke cleared from the arena by the time the match was over.
It totally didn't. My God, no, it totally didn't clear. That's a no lie.
I've never seen. I mean, there's been a few times where there's been main events that have lasted went this quick, but nothing when the whole show was built upon this main event and the whole build to it. You know, even though it was a Raw type match, but still the whole show was built to this match, and it's a head scratcher. Like, I can understand why they probably did it, because obviously Goldberg is not in ring shape, but he looks phenomenal.
Right.
But still, at least throw some punches, man. Throw it. It looks like they were setting up a table too, like setting up one of the the announcing tables, because we all know those are collapsible. Yeah, I was like, oh sweet, we're gonna get more tables. Perfect. I'm okay with this.
So Will chimes in and says the most effing anticipated match of tonight ends like that. What the hell? This is more bad than when CM Punk lost.
It's going to be interesting how they're going to play it off tomorrow.
Oh, I totally agree. And Whit does have a real point. We're talking about people might feel a little slighted about the main event. They got an hour semi-main event from the Survivor Series tag match.
52 minutes.
Yeah, it was ridiculous how long that match went. So I think they got their money's worth. They got to see Braun Strowman almost kill two guys.
Yes. I think that if people are going to feel shaded about Goldberg and Brock, well, here's a big middle finger to you, because your main event was the match before. Right. This was just all spectacle, and this is building to something else. So the main big event was, the 5-on-5, which I kind of saw going in throughout the night when Raw kept on winning the other matches, and then come to this one, I was like, SmackDown's got to win. Raw can't. I mean, the writers aren't that stupid to not give SmackDown at least one win.
Yeah,
I could see it differently, but because the writers, WWE, aren't, yeah, we'll just leave it there.
they made me so mad tonight, and Travis knows exactly why, but we'll get to that in a little bit.
Is it the tag match, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it's the tag match.
I'm sorry.
What a clusterfuck.
Oh, we'll talk about that later. So we are live from the Air Canada Centre in Toronto, live from the T-Dot, and we had 6 matches announced for a 4-hour show.
But we got 2 extra matches on the pre-show.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Did you actually watch the pre-show, Owen?
I had to because I didn't know if something was going to happen.
That's very true.
Whit says I only watch women, men, and Goldberg.
Amen. That's literally what I did. I watched the cruiserweights because I actually enjoy watching the cruiserweights.
Right, even though the crowd didn't care.
The crowd didn't care. I played a game of League during the Kane match. And then during the women's match, I watched it. I watched The Miz. During the tag team match, I watched the first 2 minutes of it. I'm like, this is boring. I turned it off because I knew how it was going to end. And it just, no. And then I didn't watch the Cruiserweight Championship match because I didn't care.
Oh, we'll get to that. Don't worry.
I watched the main event, and then I watched Goldberg.
That's the right way to put it, Travis. You watch the main event, then you watch Goldberg. Will asked if the Goldberg chants were piped in. Let's be honest.
No.
I think it seemed legit, but it also seemed like it could have been a work. But I think it's probably little column A, little column B. I think the crowd was legitimately wanting to see what Goldberg could do. Even though they decided they wanted to try to turn him when they were in Minneapolis a couple weeks ago. But I wasn't even covering that show because obviously I was in Orlando, so. Don't forget, this is like me coming back. I've only been back for almost 2 weeks now, so I haven't really got to watch as much wrestling as everyone else on the panel has.
I haven't watched wrestling in a month and a half.
You still covered No Mercy in Hell in a Cell, and that's more than I did.
I covered it enough to. I literally just stood there and watched it. I'm like, this is why I don't watch things anymore.
Well, we have to because we're covering it for everyone. So everyone wins because we get to hear Ashley complain about things and me complain about things and Scott complain about things and now Travis to complain about things. And who knows, maybe other people will join us down the line. We'll see.
Someone said Brock got squashed. The end is nigh. The end is nigh. Fucking run away. The end is nigh.
Whit says if they wanted to impress me, they should have had Goldberg take a Styles Clash. Wow, Eric Bischoff in the 90s would have loved that. Goldberg and Undertaker WrestleMania 33. Will, I've been talking about Goldberg and Undertaker as an idea for a match for about 2 years now. It was actually going
I don't think it will happen, though.
I don't think it will now, but Goldberg, when they did this, honestly, one of the ideas I had, and I know this is hindsight being 2020, this looks really bad me saying it now, but there's proof of me saying this in the past. When Goldberg was on Celebrity Apprentice, I think that they were going to do the angle where Donald Trump came on Raw and said, I can buy anything I want. And the thing I want to buy now is I want to buy The Undertaker's undefeated streak. And I'm going to get someone to do it, the dirty work for me. And it ends up being Goldberg, and that's how we get Goldberg and The Undertaker. So I had that at the Royal Rumble, and that was an idea I had. So I wouldn't mind seeing the match. They probably go about the same pace at this point. But I don't know at this point. I mean, if you have Goldberg get 2-0, I don't really think there's a reason to have a third match. If there would have been a win from Brock tonight, there could have been a rubber match at the Rumble or at WrestleMania. But I don't think they would have done it at Mania. I think they would have done something else with Brock at Mania. But I don't know at this point because with Goldberg winning in such decisive fashion, it's one of those things that it just kind of shocks everyone. Someone got serious. The people that got the money, like we're betting on the show tonight, that got the money are probably the people that predicted that Samoa Joe would win the NXT Championship back. Whit says, I want Trump to come back as WWE president. Interesting.
Not gonna happen. It actually cannot happen.
It's legally not possible. Undertaker said on SmackDown 900, is he back from now on, or is that just to hype up the crowd? Will, I think that the Undertaker may show up periodically, but I don't think he'll ever do a full schedule again. His body just can't handle it.
It's interesting that was brought up because I was just about to say something about that. Undertaker made a statement that his career is not going to be defined by WrestleMania.
Exactly.
So, a full schedule, probably not.
Never.
He's going to work probably a more liberal part-time schedule where he's going to work a lot more, do a lot of shows, but not wrestle. You might see him wrestle once a month, if that. Maybe at the pay-per-views.
He'll do a couple.
This is his last hurrah. His last hurrah.
It's the last.
He's done that. Yeah, it is.
Taker and Cena at WrestleMania 33 is what it seems like we're leading towards right now.
Well, you have Cena coming back at Roadblock.
Well, here's also another thing too about that. A lot of people are. My buddy Brian, for instance, is saying that it's going to be Cena versus Undertaker, pretty much streak for the title. Same thing they did with the Edge. I don't think they should even.
Title.
I don't think it should be a career. Sorry, I don't think it should. The title should not. The title, no, it should be career versus career. Keep the title away from it.
I don't mind that, but I see WWE mentality for Undertaker to take the title off AJ and then end up getting the match at WrestleMania with Cena.
That's another move I would like to see is the Styles Clash on Undertaker. That's going to be interesting.
It will be very interesting.
He's a big boy.
Haha, guess who had 10K riding on Goldberg?
I'm telling you, there's some people that made some serious bank from that. It's funny because, Ashley, I don't know if you saw this, and I see that you're back. Did you see that the betting switched where they weren't even allowing anybody to put any more money on Goldberg for betting? Right before
there was a lot of money. Yeah, that's the way it was going to go. There was quite a Goldberg, even on the UK market.
And I remember that they literally, I looked at the picture.
Only about 2 bets, but
yeah, it had a lock on it, so you couldn't even bet on Goldberg. So everybody knew.
I don't think Vegas made a whole lot.
Welcome back.
Well, last night maybe. Last night they probably made a shit ton.
Oh yeah.
But tonight,
to do the thing that has to be done.
When Joe lost, everybody switched their bets and went like, Brock's not going to win. Well, Joe won. Sorry. When Joe won, everybody switched their bets and was like, no, Brock's not going to win. Goldberg's going to win. Because I think if Joe would have lost, you would have saw Joe come out and be a Paul Heyman guy.
That would have been a good possibility, honestly.
Keep in mind, NXT in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Osaka, Japan. Which is being filmed for television.
Nakamura gets the title back and drops the title to Bobby Roode at WrestleMania.
Something like that.
Takeover in Orlando, I think Bobby Roode takes the title. He wins it on TNA soil, and Dixie has to deal with it.
Now we need to ask the important question. Did you watch the pre-show, Scott?
No, I was snoring and drooling away.
Travis, did you watch the pre-show?
I always suffer through it.
So, just in case anybody didn't, this is the best Survivor Series moment ever.
Oh my God, yes.
It's about 8 minutes long, but deal with it because this was fucking awesome.
Into the social media lounge here in the kickoff show.
Oh.
I'm the WWE Universal Champion, Kevin Owens. Kevin, thank you.
Saw your password when you opened your iPad just now. 6969. Disgusting.
Can I ask you a quick question? I'm wearing blue because I'm on SmackDown Live, and then your new shirt is predominantly blue.
Oh, is it?
You're on Raw.
Is it? Really? So SmackDown Live gonna tell me what colors I can wear now? Blue Jays colors, you idiot. And my shirt.
That's logic.
Is that good answer? I'm the WWE Universal Champion. I can wear whatever colors I want. You know what? I couldn't help notice. I have a problem, by the way. I couldn't help notice that you didn't invite my best friend here. Well, you know what? I'm inviting my best friend here. Chris! 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 Oh. Hey, let's get a share.
First of all, don't think I don't know why you didn't invite me. Okay? Phil, you don't like my best friend Kevin Owens? The color he's wearing, all right? I'm wearing brown. You know what that? Because I'm going to take you downtown to Chinatown if you keep talking all this BS. All right?
What I love is that you're actually wearing black, but you said brown anyway because you have downtown and Chinatown.
Yeah, well, I had to make it work. I was trying to figure it out.
That's an artist. I don't like Chris. I have a cool thing. Okay, so you don't like Chris here, brother? You know why?
He's your best friend.
No, yes. Obviously. This is Kevin Owens show. Come on now, Surrey. There we go. Nice. It wasn't. Yeah, I hooked up with a guy in the truck, but he didn't do it as fast as I wish.
Next time.
It would have been way cooler. That'll work.
And also before, just to finish, I was wearing a brown jacket, and I forgot that it changed to the black jacket.
Still.
For real.
But
Look at this.
Cool.
See what color Kevin show is? It's red. Red is for Raw. Are you happy now? There's red. Yeah, Phil, the red of the blood that courses through our winning veins tonight, man.
Look, want me wearing blue?
Yeah, more blue. Careful. That's more blue. I don't have a stupid watch. Just covered. Whatever, hawk it. This looks fine. Wear a kerchief. Would you like to answer some of the questions?
No, not really. But that's why we're here. So you're gonna ask them.
Okay. Yes, of course we want you.
Put a disgusting password on your iPad.
Stick with 2112. We're in rush territory here. That's a good one. 2112.
I don't get that reference.
May or may not be
I will write that down. The first question here, and thank you for using the hashtag AskOwens. Will you get this all updated this quickly?
I told you, I talked to the guy in the truck. Hey, his name's Matt Surrey. You should talk to him too.
Hey, at Matt J. Rothenberg.
Yeah.
Look at this. I'm presenting you with the scarf.
Another one?
Yes. There's plenty.
Are you gonna wear
So
this?
the answer, Matt J. Rothenberg, is yes.
Am I covering the
Stupid idiots.
There's a mic. Still hear me?
Yeah, you're not.
What is this?
What do you?
Oh, is that an earpiece?
Yes,
That's a hearing aid. You can't hear it, can you? Hey, Phil. What are you doing?
Hi, somebody just said hi, Kevin. Hey, it's Matt Surrey. Hey, you gotta get the thing quicker. When I snap my fingers, if that came right away. I'm gonna put it back in Philip's ear because I saw wax on there and now it's in mine. It's kind of gross. Okay, hang on.
Use a Q-tip, man. Yeah, a red one or a blue one.
Okay. What do you think about Team SmackDown mascot James Ellsworth?
Oh man.
So that explains
I thought Shane McMahon was Team SmackDown's mascot.
So that also explains James Ellsworth why he looks like a worm, because he's wearing a costume. It's a worm costume. Than a real person. He doesn't really look like that. He's wearing a mascot costume. And you know what I think of him? I think I'm gonna beat him right in his stupid face if he sticks his nose in our business.
Yeah, because he can't stick his chin.
No, nothing.
Why?
That's right.
Say why. That is a terrible thing to say. It's because the expression is "don't stick your nose in my business," not "don't stick your chin in my business." Come on, man. We're really exposing him as a terrible person. Terrible. A pervert with the passcode.
Doesn't know anything about Rush.
And now a bully because he's making fun of.
He's very prejudiced against certain colors, like red.
Yeah.
SmackDown.
You know what? I have questions for you. Why did you leave Raw?
I have found
What was the opportunity? Maybe the already has one too many people on it?
Oh!
You know what you're not getting an invitation to? The party that Kevin and I are throwing tonight after Team Raw wins.
You know
All right,
what's
so take that invitation. Yeah,
It's called the No Tom Party.
right. No Tom.
Of course, your name's Phil, so you can come, but we're not gonna let you.
Yeah, and no Phil's either.
So,
No Tom.
wait, so you do know my name?
It's Phil.
You just said Tom.
Don't.
Of
Of course, your name's Phil.
Yeah, Tom is French for dumb moron.
Another question here. I think you and Jericho will be the sole survivors tonight.
I don't care if we're the sole survivors, as long as we survive it, which we will.
Yeah.
We're the co-captains of Raw.
That's right.
We're the pillars of the team.
Absolutely.
Pillars of the show.
Yeah, cornerstones. Cornerstones of the show.
Let's find more synonyms for how good we are.
Best friends,
We're
too.
the backbone.
We're already the sole survivors. We don't have to have the match, and we're sole
We're the
survivors.
spinal fluid.
We're the spinal
Because
tap.
what are you laughing
We're
at?
Nigel Tufnell
Are you laughing at?
and David St. Hubbins is what we are.
I don't. Do you?
Yeah, David St. Hubbins. Just patron saint of quality footwear. It's true.
You think we're trying to make you laugh here?
Let's go to the last question, guys. You guys got a big night here.
Tell us what
Don't
we
tell
have.
us how big our night is. We know how big it is.
Do you think your best friend Chris Jericho secretly has you written down on the list?
You just think so.
You know what, Phil? You know what? You was making me think
Take the
about
microphone away.
you. Is you're trying to.
You don't get this anymore, Chris.
Yeah, you don't get this. You know what? Here's the problem with your questions. You're very negative. Negative Nancy Felipe. First of all, terrible handle for Twitter. You sound like a fruit juice.
Juice box.
Yeah, juice
What are you,
box.
a juice
Yeah,
box?
a juice box. Capri Marie. Strawberry lemonade flavor. All right.
I bet you don't even quench thirst.
Yeah, you don't even quench thirst. Yeah, exactly. Dumb Tom. Dumb moron. For the Tom. So here's what's gonna happen. You know what happens at Capri Marie when you ask stupid questions on the Kevin Owens show?
What happens?
You know what happens?
Love to find out.
You wanna know what happens?
I have a feeling.
I'll tell you.
Two E's. Two E's at the end. Another one.
M-A-R-E.
Oh, they took it off. Matt, sorry. Put it back on.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, but
Whatever. It'll do. It'll
Matt
do.
Surrey. Matt Surrey, for
Oh,
taking
oh,
down the tweet before we were
As soon as I
putting
snap
the
my
graphic
fingers.
on and hiring this stuff down. You know what happens, Matt Surrey? You know what happens when you do that? You know what happens?
Read the list. It's too late. See, he's trying to redeem himself.
Done.
It's too late.
Once you're on the
It's
list,
too late.
it never comes off.
It never
comes
never.
off. Ever.
Well,
Ever.
Thank you guys for being here.
Be quiet.
What? Thank you. Thank you.
The Tom.
see you guys.
Good God.
That alone was worth every single nothing. But if I'd have known that was going to be part of the show, I would have given about $150.
It's just
Because
mean-
that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you do a promo. They're not bad guys. They're not good guys. They're just guys who know.
so. It looks to me
Also,
like
there's at least 5 bits in that are going to be beautiful for Botchamania next week.
oh yeah. So welcome our final member of the panel tonight. Welcome back, Cleveland.
Hey! How you mother lovers doing?
Oh, we're all still in disbelief of what just happened.
Yeah, well, I know one thing. Undertaker's rolling in his grave right now.
Ouch.
So
Will
who's
says,
who's in here? Who's in here?
well, we've got me and Ashley, we have Travis, and we have Scott.
Dashboard professionals.
Who is Scott?
Scott is the newest member of the network.
Yep, that's me.
Dashboard Confessionals with Scott.
Ha.
Well, hey, Scott. I'm the only black guy that they allowed to be on this show.
What's up, dog?
Yeah. There's a word for that, you know, having to at least have one black guy in a company, but I don't say it, and I don't put it out there. But how are you doing?
Doing pretty good on the road myself.
I thought that was the rule of different strokes.
So yeah, like I said before Cleveland came in, Will had a comment in chat. He said Undertaker's loss at 30 means absolutely nothing now. It meant something at the time, whether it was the right decision or not. It was the right decision business wise, but it was a snap decision they didn't think about. It still doesn't really mean anything, but I mean, it's over now. It's like just like the promo on SmackDown, like you alluded to earlier, Will. It basically said that Undertaker is not going to be defined by WrestleMania any longer. Welcome, Lady Luck, to chat. Hopefully, we'll see you on the podcast chat for our Horror Nights podcast on Friday night at 9.
With respect, in all.
Go ahead.
The reason why you shouldn't have signed up for 3 months. Because
does this mean I get to do my WWE Network shilling again?
Excited about the thing, and it turned off. Excited about the thing. It's a lose.
And now Travis, like he said, he gets to shill for the network shamelessly. Like we saw that commercial like 18 times during the show tonight.
How about I just do what they said on the pre-show? You literally, if you go onto WWEnetwork.com right now, you can get a free month, and that includes Storytime, which just debuted on the WWE Network. I didn't get to watch it, but it was probably Takeover. You can watch Takeover.
Yes, please do. The show's phenomenal.
Watch Takeover. You can watch Goldberg win, and then in 2 weeks you will see WWE TLC, which already announced, as Lita kept saying. I want to kick her in the face. Or no, she said already advertised. I still hate Lita as a commentator, by the way. She's the worst on the pre-show panel. She's the worst. But we'll get to that pre-show panel in a second because I want to kill Jerry Lawler.
Not literally. Thankfully.
Not literally. Maybe. You never know.
Oh boy.
You can get TLC, which already has AJ Styles versus Dean Ambrose for the world title, not world heavyweight title anymore, world title. Then you get Roadblock, End of the Line, which is probably going to have some sort of John Cena on there.
Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship has been announced for the website of the actual arena that's housing the show. But
seriously, that's great.
Yeah.
From what's his t-shirt say? Give me a second.
Welcome, Tim, the chat. Welcome back, Tim, the chat.
Conquer the Martians.
No, his t-shirt says something really funny.
Yeah.
From Ashes to Empire. Because it was right after he got suspended for drugs.
Oh, we're going there again.
Oh, we always go there.
Whit has a point. Whit has a point, Travis. Renee is the only one on the panel that isn't terrible.
Amen. She's the only one that I actually listen to.
And we got to hear her, whether she knew she was on or not, during the pre-show.
Martin from the tweeted, "I can't wait for the hype to start with the tagline, real warfare gets fantasized." That's what just happened.
Yeah, we've got some interesting. Yeah, Whit, it's probably a brilliant idea to put Roman in a main event again. Hashtag Shucky Ducky Quack Quack.
That's my Shucky Ducky Quack Quack moment of the night. It's always going to be short as fuck.
Feels good to curse on a podcast again, doesn't it, Travis?
Oh, God. Feels so good.
Horror Nights podcasts obviously are different rules, but the wrestling podcasts are pretty much no holds bars. So we actually did have 2 matches on the show because they had to add things. Because we had 6 matches on a 4-hour show. Well, we thought was a 4-hour show. With a 2-hour pre-show that didn't need to be 2 hours. Lady Luck says, I know Roman isn't everyone's fave, but the booing tonight was insane. Yeah, no one likes Roman Reigns, Lady Luck. Not at all.
They just released a T-shirt for WrestleMania.
I know.
They have the WrestleMania shirt. They have the Rock shirt, which I don't think is released yet. Yeah, it hasn't released
Squeeze
yet.
me while I go and buy that.
The Rock has a shirt, and Bootio's Christmas shirt is releasing on December 5th.
You should wait till you don't have to pay sales tax or shipping, Scott.
And Samoa Joe's
Touche.
probably last NXT shirt gets in stock on the 22nd.
The brand new Kevin Owens Canadian shirt, the Canadian prize fighter shirt that he debuted tonight.
Good old Foley tweeted, the phrase of choice in the WWE dressing room right now is "what the fuck."
Yeah, pretty much. Well, we're gonna get another run in. It looks like.
What?
I want the Seth Rollins shirt.
Oh, the Seth freaking Rollins.
I want the one
Well,
tonight.
the half and half one, yeah.
That shirt doesn't exist for real. It was created just for him.
Well, what the hell?
I don't know. He says what the hell when he leaves. This is
That's
the
what he
power
did.
of Scott. So, like I said, there was a tag match that started off the show. 6-man tag, focusing on 205 Live, which is debuting in a couple weeks.
My birthday.
Yeah, it is actually. Now I think about it. Oh my God. Speaking of run-ins, mystery caller, would you like to reveal yourself?
I'm back.
No one
bitches.
fucking cares.
Oh God, we have 2 Ashleys again. This is not good.
Don't worry. There's anyone. Except I can still hear myself. Why is that still not breaking? Now I break it.
I made it humble. There we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Popcast Network. Will.
Yes. I don't have much to say, but I'm glad to be back.
Hey, Will.
Yeah, what's up, buddy?
Oh,
No one fucking cares.
You see, all that's missing now is Aaron, but you know he's got that licorice all sort in tow. So
yeah, it's one of those things, I guess. He's not allowed to be joining us apparently anymore.
he sold his soul to Dixie.
I thought Dixie's off. Dixie's not. Oh my God. What the fuck? Why is she not gone?
If you guys want to talk TNA, we'll talk TNA on Wednesday.
That would make sense. Just like tonight, if it made sense, it would have happened. But this is Vince in charge.
Except
So
tonight was fantasy warfare.
Yeah.
Raw actually won, even though SmackDown's the better
Tonight
show.
would have been
Minus
fantasy.
Kevin Owens.
Just got fantasy.
Oh boy.
Oh, and here's my other thing. This is something that I've been wanting to say for weeks, but I haven't had an outlet.
Okay.
Explain how a piece of fucking paper is more over than Kevin Owens, the Universal Champion.
Well, I will say that Owens got a huge pop tonight. So
It's because he's in fucking Canada.
well, yeah, of course.
He's in his home and native land. Anywhere else, the fucking list of Jericho.
Hold on. Did you really mean to say home and native land and quote "Oh Canada" when you were making that comment?
Yes, I actually meant to.
Okay, good. Just making sure.
Travis, you know what happens when you make fun of the list of Jericho?
Get on the list. Put me on
You
the
know
list, Jericho. I dare you.
You get a cookie.
You get a cookie. You get a cookie. You all get a cookie.
No, I'm not Oprah.
Hope it's chocolate chip or snickerdoodle.
Oh God. We're never going to get finished at this point. And we're not even started talking about the show yet.
Not after tonight's interests. They ain't chocolate chips in this cookie.
God.
Hey, Whit, I'm not going on the list. Jericho can't see me because I'll RKO him.
No, you won't, Travis.
I'll RKO.
Okay, there were so many related puns in there. I
You can't deal?
to say you're fired, but that would have been a pun in itself. But
there was a match we're about to talk about. We're not going to have this podcast go 4 hours.
Yeah, let's talk about Drew Gulak.
Yeah. Oh, the man.
Oh, really?
Okay, let's talk about the 6-man tag to start off the show.
Mm-hmm. So that was, trying to think off the top of my head, Gulak, Nice, and Davari. No, not that one. Versus Rich Swann, Noam Dar, and the biggest cock-up in entrance music and everything in wrestling today. Because did anybody notice what was wrong with TJ Perkins' entrance?
No.
I didn't catch this either because I wasn't looking at the actual entrance.
You know the floor where it shows TJ?
Right.
When he's been selected and loaded up? TJ's holding the Cruiserweight title.
No way.
Yeah, he is.
Give me a second. I'm going to the network right now.
The still image of him on the Tron with the crazy kid.
And welcome Whit to chat as well.
What was the name? Survivor Series. That's what we just watched. Okay.
Yeah, we watched Survivor Series 1992. Oh, no, wait. That was a good Survivor Series.
Even 03 Survivor Series, wasn't it the first Elimination Chamber?
Yeah.
That was amazing too.
Oh, I mean the six. I don't know what to first mention about the 6-man.
Well, the first thing I would mention right away is the crowd wasn't into it at all until we got to the finish.
Yeah, they didn't give a crap.
Yeah, because the Cruiserweight division has been buried by Vince.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Of course.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Owen, you've got 9 minutes.
I'm glad. Hopefully, we're not the only ones that heard this.
Apparently, the other guys were because they didn't get the reference.
Oh, I heard it. I know.
And shock, horror. After 9 minutes, ding, ding, ding went the bell.
No,
Who knew?
I timed it from that second. I literally whipped out my phone so quickly. It's not even funny. I could have thrown it against the wall.
It might have been about 10 minutes. It was pretty much in and around 9.
It was really close to 9 that it came back to Renee.
Yeah, it totally did. And it was clear as day. It was her voice, too.
Oh, yeah.
And you could sort of tell Moro and Corey were like, what the shit do we do?
A lot of good fast-paced action in this match when we actually got to towards the end. Everybody got their stuff in. So at this point, Noam Dar hit a tope to Drew Gulak on the outside. Tony Nese with the Fosbury flop. The referee cuts off TJ from diving. So Perkins just dives over the ref. It's a tope con hilo. And at this point, we end up setting up Rich Swann. And Daivari comes in, and Swann ends up finishing off Daivari with a standing 450 for the 3 count. It was a good showcase and a good way to kick off the show, but the problem with it was the crowd couldn't care less, which is what, like Ashley said, is what the cruiserweights have been turned into. They're just cannon fodder now, which is a shame. This was
Now, take that into account. And think about the fact that they're doing a Cruiserweight exclusive show that's live after
Oh my God.
it's a SmackDown. That crowd is going to not give a shit about anything that's on 205.
right.
They love, we've seen it for the years and years now since Raw went 3 hours.
Mm.
Oh my
People-
God. TJ Perkins did have the title on his throne.
Yeah, it's gonna convert SmackDown shows into pretty much a 3-hour show. Yay!
Honestly, it kind of reminds me of when they brought ECW back for the short time, and ECW would tape after SmackDown. It's pretty much the same concept.
Yeah, but that was tape.
Yeah.
We're talking about actually live. Yeah, with tape. Yeah, we heard what Kevin Dunn tried to do in Glasgow.
Exactly.
And we've heard plenty of times what Dixie's done every bloody week because they can't get anybody to cheer in the Impact Zone. When stuff's taped, you can do a lot of editing to make it sound more positive to the direction you're trying to do it. You can't do that really when it's live unless it's muting Roman Reigns' boos. Because that's about it.
So, like I said, it was a solid opening, but I mean, the crowd didn't care. It was decent for what it was. Their pacing was a little bit on the fast side. I guess that was the point. But sometimes when you work really fast, you can kind of make mistakes. This one didn't really have any, so that was a good thing. But I just wish there was more to it than just what it was. Everybody came out looking really well, and it was a good way to start off the show to the people that were into it. So, So your thoughts? Whit, did you watch the pre-show?
No, not at all.
Okay, good. We'll come back. We'll come back to you when we open the show.
Yeah.
No
Thanks
worries.
for letting me know that we don't swear on Hard Nights once, because I would have started swearing when I talked about how much I love Survivor Day.
It's all on YouTube for you to watch with. Plus that epic promo that we played earlier with Kevin and Jericho. Because
yeah, I was hearing that.
I made sure I didn't laugh too much through that, but literally when it happened live, I nearly thought I wasn't going to be able to do tonight's podcast because I nearly lost my voice because I was laughing that hard. That was sort of an appropriate clip to play because literally after that Owens thing, we sort of went straight into this match, which actually wasn't too bad of a match. It's a shame the crowd weren't invested, but I think it's because they knew that they were going to be in for 4 hours at least, which turns out that's pretty much how long it was, for about 4.5 hours.
Right.
From first match to 85 seconds. They delivered. They all got their chance to shine. I think for Noam Dar, it was a bit of sort of emotional thing for him, given that just a few hours before ICW put on, from what I've heard from people that did manage to catch it, one hell of a show. So me and Owen were not able to catch all of it.
Most of it, but not all of it.
Those that did, the key moments that happened in it were very well done.
Right.
And then there was the Team 3D match, but
we don't want to. We'll talk about that on Wednesday. I have too much venom towards that match. We need to talk about Kane and Luke Harper now.
Though I have more love for that match than I do for the main event. Weirdly.
There was nothing botched in the main event.
True.
Yes.
But yeah.
Wait, so I'm on WWE's YouTube channel trying to find some pre-show stuff. Every video, they have a highlight from each match. That's about 1 minute and 4 seconds long. For Goldberg versus Brock, it's the whole damn match.
No.
Awesome.
No. Wait, you're wrong. You're wrong
Is
on
it?
that one, good sir. It's the whole match except the jackhammer.
Oh, I didn't notice that. Those teases.
It's literally, hear me out. It's the jiggling of Goldberg's butt. Spear.
I'm watching it.
Spear.
Yep.
It ends.
Well, Paul Heyman begging him not to do it, and
Yeah,
then it
and
ends.
it ends with Paul Heyman begging him not to do it.
Oh, and Brock Lesnar twerking a bit.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Well, Travis, since you are going to pipe up, do you want to talk about this cruiserweight match?
I'd rather not.
Was he twerking for Turkey?
Here's my issue. I love everybody that was on the winning team of the cruiserweight match or whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
Gar, he's great. Awesome. Terrific. Rich Swann, he's my dude. Love him, from Maryland. Yeah, let's go. TJ Perkins. What's not to love about TJ Perkins?
The fact he was in TNA.
I was getting ready to make a TNA reference.
Yes.
I have a quick question about this cruiserweight match from what I'm hearing.
Go ahead, Will.
Mm-hmm.
I can't understand which one's worse. This cruiserweight match or basically Kevin Owens being the chosen one by Triple H. Which one is worse? Or which one was more pointless?
Well, the cruiserweight match was basically hyping up 205 Live. And Kevin Owens being the chosen one by Triple H was just something to make me happy. So obviously, we're going to go with that being a good thing.
That's a long-term thing. Because what they did in that move was set the storyline for what should have happened 12 months before.
Right.
Which means we get Triple H versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania.
Yep.
Which is what we were going to get had he not got injured on the UK tour, 12 months ago?
Damn chair.
Will, I think your house is haunted.
Gotta get some WD-40 for this chair. I've had this chair for like 3 years.
No worries. So we'll move on real quickly to Luke Harper versus Kane.
It's got to be
the
Kane.
ghost of all the failed pushes they've given up on for Bray.
Well, we'll get to that in a minute. Scott, did you have any thoughts on the cruiserweight match, real quick?
I didn't watch any of the pre-show or the first hour of the friggin' show. I was never me.
What was the first match you watched?
I got in on the cruiserweight match on the main show.
Good.
So, but I heard who won each of the first 2 matches. So I mean, kind of got caught up, but I didn't watch them.
Well, I can. That means I'll go to you when we get to the cruiserweight match. That'll work perfectly. So I guess.
And you might see Indianapolis between then.
Nice. So I guess it's just going to be me, Ashley, and Travis talking about this next match. First off, I think that Luke Harper now officially has a broken condition.
Brother Harper. I knew you'd come.
That's my current all-time dream match right now. Bray and Matt. That'd be so good.
That bald spot though. That bald spot.
That is
Oh my
epic.
goodness. WWE released on their whatchamajigger on their YouTube a day ago the full match of the Brothers of Destruction versus the Wyatts from last year's Survivor Series.
Wow.
Yeah.
That entire match on YouTube.
Why?
Yeah. Because it was shit.
Indeed. And if you want to hear us complain about that match, there's a podcast for that Survivor Series that's on this network right now.
Yeah, that was kind of, especially since, wasn't that the first Undertaker match since the Amazing Hell in a Cell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? That was the first Undertaker match since Bray Wyatt at the time.
Mm-hmm.
It was the non-existent Streak versus Wyatt. Then randomly coming back to team up with Kane to take on the entire family for no apparent reason. After all the... Oh no, I guess that was when you had all the aftermath of the Brock multiple fights as well.
Right.
And then fucking Shane.
Yeah, we need to talk about this match or lack thereof.
Well,
I will say right now, Ashley pointed out
was the most important bit was
yeah, the Harper noses are back. The fact that in the chin lock at 6:34 there was the mask was basically coming off, it seemed like.
Kane's mask was coming off. That kid that marked out that I couldn't play the clip off by him on my tablet because the computer's being too echoey. Would be I don't know, something.
Fair point.
But yeah, this match, I mean, it seems harsh to say it happened considering the main event, but it sort of wasn't. It was weird. You've been billing this as a whole fantasy warfare SmackDown versus Raw show, so here's randomly a SmackDown versus SmackDown match. Okay.
This match sucked. Straight up. And it had a really ugly looking DDT off the ropes, which did not work. This went real quick. Morrow's on commentary when Harper hits the layout black hole slam.
Oh, good. That makes me so happy.
He goes swinging sidewalk slam. So he kind of does that there. Harper goes for the discus lariat, gets choke slam, match over. Less said about this, the better. Luke Harper deserves better. Next.
Well, he did deserve better. That's what happened in the longest Survivor Series match in history.
Yes.
We'll get to that.
The Survivor Series match we had tonight was longer than some Royal Rumbles.
Yeah.
I didn't mind.
We'll get to it. Don't worry.
Well, I'm watching the ending of every match right now.
Nice.
Thank
you. Ashley, you want to comment on this match real quick before we move on to the main show?
I mean, it was okay, but it was nothing that really felt worthy of being on a pay-per-view, yet alone a Big Four.
Any thoughts, Travis, before we move on?
No.
I mean, Kane is nearing the end. He's put his time in. He's paid his dues. He's a veteran in every sense of the word, but it's over. Then again, after something that happens later on in the show, he may end up getting somebody else's spot. You never know. Yes. Comedy for two is still comedy. Let's start off the show. The show kicks off with the Women's Survivor Series match. So we get Alexa Bliss.
Yay.
Looking great as ever.
Of course.
Did you notice something? Raw came out first.
We'll get to that, yeah.
So yeah, I'm trying to think. Everybody was wearing everybody in this match at least was wearing some sort of branded attire.
You're correct.
Even Nia Jax, even though it was just like a raw bib, sort of over her giant body.
Yeah, it looked really off.
It's not good.
Bailey wearing the McDonald's inspired gear.
Mm-hmm.
It fit. So, like I said, we had SmackDown's representation was Alexa Bliss, Naomi, and the current SmackDown Women's Champion, Becky Lynch, Carmella, for whatever stupid reason. And Nikki comes out last because reasons. And we find out...
She's captain.
Yeah, she's captain over the champion. That makes sense.
What?
That makes sense. But she comes out. We find out that she's not showing up. She's not showing up. We get a camera that's like very, like spastically going all over the place and finds.
That looks like a shot from Evil Dead.
Kind of. So she basically is laying on the ground, and she is being talked to by both Natalya and Daniel Bryan. And she's been attacked, and she's not being cleared to work tonight. So Natalia's like, I'll take your spot.
How convenient for Natalya.
Yeah, we're pretty sure Natalia's the one that attacked Nikki, but and I'm okay with that, so it's fine.
Did you realise something? That's the only sighting we had tonight of Brian.
Yep.
And for something hours, you only saw him to console Nikki. I think there's an affair going on.
I think it's a total Divas angle.
Oh, so she's going to break her neck again? Just so you keep the continuity with Total Bellas. I see. God. I mean, there's the possibility that it could be Carmella. And
Yeah.
we continue it. But I, you know, that Nikki was like, I didn't see who attacked me.
Yeah.
But then also, when you think about it, you're in Canada. Why wouldn't Natalya be in the match? It's a no-brainer.
Yeah. I mean, and we still didn't announce the team. They're facing the Raw team of Nia Jax, Sasha Banks, Bailey, Alicia Fox for whatever reason, and the women's champion Charlotte.
That was really one-sided with the teams.
Well, crowd didn't care about Nikki. They were chanting yes when Natalya came out because we're in Canada after all. So we go rapid fire eliminations. There's no real reason to like get into most of this. Alicia Fox, oh my god, she's going to kill someone. Axe kick eliminates Carmella. Alexa tags in. It's Twisted Bliss, eliminates Foxy, gets her out of there, thankfully. So Nia Jax ends up beating up Naomi. She peels her off the ring apron, so she gets counted out. We move on later in the match, and Alexa Bliss counters the bank statement. Natalya gets the roll up and eliminates Sasha. So in Canada, we have Charlotte locked in the sharpshooter. She gets the ropes, and then Natalya gets hit with a big boot, and that's the end of that. Later on in the match, Becky gets tagged in. It's a shotgun drop kick off the top. Awkward double DDT does not work. Oh my god, it looked horrible. Nia Jax get locked in the disarmer, and she taps out. So Bliss tags herself in. She gets kicked in the face. She's done because WWE hates me. And Becky goes for this armor again, gets countered out. Bayley hits the Bayley to belly and wins the match for both Bayley and Charlotte as the sole survivors. And afterwards gets attacked by Charlotte for her own good. This was okay. A series of things that were good from it, but I mean, by and large, it's weird that they went with Charlotte and Bayley as the sole survivors. And there's a lot of botches. That DDT botch oh my god, that was terrible. It went
If you
fast.
think about it made sense for the final two to be them because obviously immediately afterwards you started the backstory that will lead into Roadblock.
Right.
But that's the problem with this show. Every team was made up of I don't like you, you don't like me. Which sort of came into effect pretty much in every single match.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I see the reason why it happened. You're building to Bayley and Charlotte, and that makes sense to me. But, I mean, it seems so lopsided, and it just felt really weird placement. I don't understand why it opened. The irony being the last time we had a pay-per-view, the women closed the show, and this show they curtain jerk. But, I mean, Becky going out last, that's fine, because that makes Becky look real strong, so that's good. And obviously, I think we're building towards... we look like we're building towards Becky and Alexa at TLC. That's my guess.
Well, the rematch is due, isn't it? So...
Right.
Makes sense.
And we'll find out who actually did attack Nikki. They'll have like some GTV footage or something that someone actually saw it with like their cell phone camera or something, saw Natalya attack or saw Carmella attack or whomever did it. And that'll be Nikki's match for Roadblock as well. TLC, sorry.
I bet it was Eva Marie.
Ooh.
I mean, logically, she's another name you could throw in there because she's supposed to be coming back soon.
Well, the name that gets thrown around a lot that is coming up to the main roster seems to be Liv Morgan. And I don't understand why. Do not get that at all.
I would say there's no point in moving up from that roster unless you become a champion.
I wouldn't even do that at this point. I don't think they need to touch any of the rosters. They've done too much damage to the NXT women's roster.
Oh, no, I get that. But, that's... I think you've got enough women that could easily come in for it to not be a factor to have to bring in NXT people.
It should be Rosemary.
Huh. What did you think of the match?
Not great, especially after the Hell in a Cell match, but nothing notably bad about it. Some good jumping off the apron stuff.
I've heard, I haven't got a chance to watch the Hell in a Cell match, but I've heard a lot of bad things about it.
It seemed good just because it was the ending thing.
Oh, the really awkward finish.
Well, not the ending of that match, but just that it feels important no matter how bad it was.
I see where you're coming from there.
Oh, to me, that ending just felt like everything that they tried to do was just an anticlimax. Ironic, 2 straight pay-per-views where people are pissed at the end.
And then SummerSlam was the same way.
Yeah,
right.
But you obviously had No Mercy before that. Oh no, people were pissed at that one.
What was the ending of No Mercy?
Bray versus Randy. Clash of Champions, though, that was. Clash of Champions delivered.
That struck a chord, Travis.
But we're on a streak of 3 bad ones, so.
We're on a streak of like 20 bad pay-per-views.
No, bad pay-per-view endings.
Bad pay-per-view endings? Okay, let me think. We're gonna let's see here. So Survivor Series is one.
Hell in a Cell was 2.
How did Hell in a Cell end? Yeah. Hell in a Cell
That's the
was
women's
bad.
mess.
No Mercy. Yeah. I could say that was pretty bad. Clash of Champions.
You didn't even need to finish just a match alone.
Yeah, that was bad. Technically Cruiserweight Classic was okay, but that's not a pay-per-view.
Well, no, the one before that was Clash of Champions.
And then Backlash. Personally, I didn't like it.
I'm not talking about the show. The match actually.
No. The last match. Yeah, I know. And then, oh Lord, SummerSlam's main event.
It's pretty much been more miss than hit over the last 3 months.
SummerSlam was just the reverse of tonight's main event.
Okay, Battleground was the last decent main event.
And this is why the shows go 4 hours.
What, the pay-per-view?
I'm not referring to the pay-per-views, actually.
Oh no, because of course tonight's pay-per-view actually went 3.5. I hope they didn't hike the prices up for actual pay-per-view prices.
Mm.
They did though. I mean, this women's match actually wasn't too bad compared to previous Survivor Series women's matches. Yeah, there wasn't. Okay, there was some botches here and there, but I think that you did have to know, even though it probably did hurt it more. You had the friction, obviously, between Alexa and Becky.
Right.
Was their upcoming match. And then they're clearly, I would argue, Bayley versus Charlotte now, whether it be at Roadblock or the Royal Rumble over the next couple of months.
We are a month away from the Royal Rumble.
2 months.
Oh, 2 months. My bad. We're 2 pay-per-views away.
So, I think we're going to move on to Scott. What did you thought of it? You didn't see this match, so we're good on that. Will, what did you think of the match?
Can that be a thought? I mean,
Considering the fact that I have to work at 10 o'clock in the morning, yes.
To be honest, that's sounded like a kiss, which we all know starts with K. Oh God, the sponsors have brainwashed me.
I mean, I don't have, that many things to say on this match. It's just, yeah.
It wasn't great, but it wasn't atrocious. It was pretty, middle of the road.
Yeah.
I thought the women's match was actually pretty good.
It was basic.
I enjoyed it.
Well, see, okay, when you guys were talking about when Nikki got attacked backstage,
Right.
I was sitting here thinking, we're naming all these women from NXT, like Liv Morgan, for example. What if they show this in 4 minutes on Raw tomorrow night, and we see the camera pan up, and it's a woman wrestler we have never seen before. We don't know her from NXT. What if she's a woman wrestler from a different organization, and she, even though Nia Jax was built up to be a monster woman wrestler, what if it's a big woman that is going to be another monster woman wrestler in the WWE?
What if it's a
Velvet
monster?
Sky.
What if it's a monster that doesn't have to be a big monster? What if it's just somebody that's really evil looking and quite crazy that I've been promoting for the last 2 years? What if it's Sister Abigail?
It could be.
With her signing with NXT, Travis, every day it's looking more likely it's going to happen.
It's not happening.
Yeah, it is, because I'm not wrong when it comes to this.
Wait, who's Sister Abigail gonna be? Apparently,
Crazy Mary Dobson. I've been talking about this for 2 years now. She officially signed her NXT contract. So yes, it could happen.
Perhaps it'll be Big Damo in drag.
Big Damo in drag. That's nice.
Oh, Lord.
It's like a freak show. We're going back to circus and carny times.
Woo! We move from that to the Intercontinental title match. Ramifications that if The Miz loses, Sami Zayn's going to take the title to Raw.
Holy shit, wasn't Maurice wearing?
Yeah, Michael Cole, for some reason, thought it was the Raw pre-show.
I've heard a lot of stuff about that. Like, God, Michael Cole.
Yeah,
he should be on the list of Jericho.
I'm sure he is. He blocked me on Twitter, so apparently he's on my list too without me even realizing it.
Wait, Jericho blocked you?
No, I have heat with Jericho for a different. I have heat with Jericho for a different reason, but no, Michael Cole blocked me a long time ago.
Were you here for that story, Travis?
My Johnny Fairplay story with Chris Jericho, yeah. I told that in a podcast a while back.
If I was more active on Twitter, every single announcer except Corey Graves would block me.
Nice. This match was. We're going back to this clicking sounds again. Yeah. See, what we're doing is we're trying to eliminate like background noise a little bit in the podcast because I know that's something that people have like mentioned to me about. So we're gonna try our best to squelch that as much as we can.
Yeah, I'm trying to just mute whenever I'm not talking.
I think that's gonna work for everybody this season, actually, to be honest. Miz is back to working the Daniel Bryan style, which is fine. He does the surfboard stomp, and that's his only real spot for later on in the match. So Zayn gets his major offense in, hits the tope con hilo, tosses him in. Miz goes for the double leg, goes for the figure four, gets countered, and he ends up getting caught with the Michinoku driver for a near fall, sets up Blue Thunder. Miz elbows out. but he gets caught again. Miz floats over, lands on his feet, double leg, goes for the figure four. Zayn goes to the small package, gets a near fall off of that. And he's mocking Bryan. He gets the running drop kick 3 times in the corner, hits the Miz line, goes up top for the crown, gets caught, Blue Thunder 1-2, and a kick out. So he charges in again, and Sami Zayn's going for the haluva kick, but his leg's been worked on the whole match, so he kind of limps around. Miz hits the neck snap off the ropes, goes for the skull-crushing finale, gets countered into a wheelbarrow forward roll for a near fall. Ducks the clothesline, hits the exploder into the buckle, goes for the haluva. He misses, double leg, Miz with the figure four. But Sami Zayn reverses the momentum. He gets the ropes. Miz with the S kicks, and he goes for the buzzsaw. Zayn ducks it, figure four by Zayn, and Maurice rings the bell. Yes, another screw job in Canada. How appropriate. It's Survivor Series after all. So Miz gets to roll up with the tights and gets the actual victory and retains the Intercontinental Championship. Just a solid match between two superstars. I think the match would have had more like oomph to it if it would have been Dolph Ziggler against Sami Zayn. But The Miz, I've been a big fan of Miz since obviously I've talked him up since the real world. So I've been a big proponent of The Miz, and I'm very glad to see what they're doing with him now. Maurice is definitely more over than she's ever been as a valet now, and it actually works really well. I like how she rang the bell. That was really good, especially in Canada, to really troll the crowd. I thought that worked really well. A lot of believable near falls in this match. Right person went over. And the continuation of Sami Zayn being the ultimate underdog is continuing. And if it leads to where Ashley and I think it's going to go, then Sami Zayn fans, don't worry. The best is yet to come. Speaking of that, Ashley, what do you think of the match?
Metal Gear Solid reference.
Yes.
It was actually a pretty good match, actually. Not as good as I was hoping it was going to be. And considering everything that happened, this could have easily gone a little bit longer.
Right.
But, yeah, the finish, you know, perhaps we need the shark cage for Maurice. Except we perspex up the bars, so nothing can be thrown out. I mean, it sort of made sense if you think about it, because if the title did go to Raw, there'd be no title for about 60% of that roster to go for. Because not everybody's going to be a contender for AJ's WWE World title.
See, that's when you create another championship. I know if they would have to in that situation. If they would have taken the main secondary championships and put them on the same brand, I would have created like a television title, and that could have been your secondary title for SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all for naught because Miz has still got the title and he's still on SmackDown, so it works. And building more heat with Daniel Bryan, leading to what we believe is going to be their big match at WrestleMania.
No.
They're going to pull out all the stops for WrestleMania this year because I think they realized 32 was a fail.
WrestleMania 33 is going to be major. Oh, you are wrong, sir.
If you have, okay, I'm pretty sure, Owen, you have not watched anything from Total Bellas or Total Divas.
No, I guarantee you I have not.
He is never wrestling again.
Yeah, he is.
No, he is not.
He will work one last match against The Miz, and that'll be the end of it.
No. Bree will not allow him to wrestle.
It'll definitely happen, and if you really want to do it with that situation, I do a stipulation that if The Miz wins, he gets to take over SmackDown.
I mean, it sort of depends on the timing. Because keep in mind, it'll be around then that the baby. That's why I'm sort of possibly that.
I mean, if they're going to pull out all the stops, I think that it's a really good possibility that if it's in the way to make happen, I think they'll go for it. And if there's any match that obviously there's more matches we all want to see. But if storyline perspective, if you wanted to do one match and you only had one match left, you do The Miz without a doubt. That's how this all started, and that's how it should end.
Perhaps that one will end in 85 seconds.
Hey, I'm sure it would pop the whole crowd.
It would be calmer for the 19 seconds of WrestleMania 27.
It doesn't have to be a long match, Travis. It could just be a quick squash.
I'm not. Yeah, Daniel Bryan losing in a quick squash to The Miz in his last match ever.
He's not losing.
Hey, Travis.
We all know people who can't wrestle anymore can come back and just squash someone really big.
Win.
Right. Daniel Bryan will beat The Miz in record time to make up for the Sheamus thing, obviously.
Keep in mind as well who beat The Miz for the IC title a few years back.
Bret the Hitman Hart did.
And what did he do? Vacate the title immediately afterwards.
Exactly.
So, quick question. Why, when Daniel Bryan comes back after not wrestling for a long time and squashes someone, does everyone love it? But if Goldberg does it, it's terrible.
It's not believable. It's not believable at fucking all.
I knew this was going to happen.
Oh my damn gosh. Rusev, who's probably like a good 225. He struggles lifting his ass up, but you telling me this old piece of shit could knock down freaking Brock Lesnar? The man who not only ran through the whole WWE locker room, but 85% of the UFC locker room? Kiss my ass. Kiss my ass.
He already beat him once, so
Wow, that was a very successful troll of mine. I'm sorry.
And also, because people talk about, okay, this makes Undertaker's a whole thing look pathetic. Well, Travis, this makes John Cena look like a punk bitch. Because the last person that Brock Lesnar beat like the way that Goldberg beat him is John Cena. So what?
If you haven't watched Total Bellas, John Cena's kind of a punk bitch.
Wow, I never thought I'd hear you say that. You sort of calmed me down a lot.
He
John Cena equal tipster.
Yeah, he's a little OCD bitch.
Oh,
I've been trying to tell you this for years.
I've only known you for about 11 months, not even.
I've been trying to tell you this for years.
Did everyone give their thoughts on Bryan and The Miz with the match with The Miz and Sami Zayn?
I like The Miz. I like shenanigans. Pretty good.
Oh God, Ashley. Any more thoughts before we move on?
I'm real proud of my first appearance on a podcast.
Let's get into 20 man action.
Yeah, tag match. So we've got SmackDown's team, which is Fandango and Tyler Breeze. Then we have American Alpha. Then we have the current tag champs, Heath Slater and Rhino. Then we have 3 Minute Warning. The Island Boys. The Usos.
Los Matadors.
And then we have Zack Ryder and that goof that needs to be fired. Taking on Enzo and Cass, the Good Brothers, Cesaro and Sheamus. The tag team does not need to be mentioned. Poor Primo and Epico. And the current reigning and defending forever in a day tag team champions, the New Day.
So it was New Day, Los Matadores, the Hate Club.
Pretty much.
Trying to think. Cesaro and Sheamus. And who's the other one?
Enzo and Cass.
Ah, we got a couple of fuck boys.
Did anyone else besides myself notice that on Carl Anderson's knee pads, it said hashtag BC?
Yeah, of course it did.
Okay.
BizCliz.
Yeah, British Columbia. I guess I go to Vancouver.
No,
No.
it means Bullet Club.
It could mean both.
They probably did it for Kenny.
Yeah, it's a good possibility. Cesaro shouted him out on Raw this past week. Yeah. So we ended up. This match went a while too. For some reason,
minutes, but
it seemed longer. For some reason, Enzo and Cass had Mr. Anderson style microphones with leopard print around them.
Well, we know why it felt longer because the unthinkable happened within the first 60 seconds. Owen was dejected.
Oh, I was so mad.
Eliminated pretty much instantaneously.
Yeah, Fandango is just like calmly giving everyone out fashion citations, and then out of nowhere, the New Day hit the midnight hour and eliminated him because WWE Creative hates me.
And then
right away, we get an Uso super kick on Kofi Kingston, and the New Day have been officially eliminated.
So the two best bits of each brand are gone.
And then, of course, to add insult to injury, because they've already eliminated Fandango and Breeze, they had to eliminate the Hype Bros next, with Zack Ryder falling victim to the Magic Killer.
Yep.
So American Alpha got the elimination on the Shining Stars when they hit the Steiner Brothers Bulldog. Yes, the one that almost paralyzed Marcus Bagwell on Thunder on Primo. So that eliminated them. And a lot of craziness that went down. Jordan got hit with the Magic Killer. That eliminated American Alpha. Rhino got tagged in after Enzo got knocked off the ring apron. He gored Luke Gallows. The Good Brothers were eliminated right off the bat. Rhino got hit with the NBA Jam, so that took out Rhino and Slater. And then Enzo and Cass were eliminated with the Samoan Splash from the Usos. We had a really hot finish here, which led to Cesaro and Sheamus being left alone with the Usos. Cesaro broke out the Tiger Feint kick, or for all intents tonight, the 416, which is the area code for Toronto, Canada. Flying body press to Jey Uso for a near fall.
Didn't you?
What?
You looked that up.
I've actually, yeah, but I've done it before, where the 619 was the area code of the place that they were working at the time.
Oh no.
Cesaro with the swing shooter. Jimmy kicks him in the knee. Tope Suicida to Sheamus. Uso locks on the Tequila Sunrise, and Cesaro ends up turning it into the sharpshooter. He drags him in the middle. Super kick is stopped. Brogue kick. Sheamus and Cesaro win. And after the match is over, there's this mark in the front row that was dressed like Bret Hart. Cesaro took his shades, put them on, and then gave them back to him. Yeah, that was interesting. And we found out that on Raw tonight, it's going to be Cesaro and Sheamus getting their rematch for the tag team titles against the New Day.
Uh-oh, Demolition's record
Why?
is about to stay.
Maybe. Okay. This match was all over the place. When the finish went down to Sheamus and Cesaro against the Usos, it was kind of like I was worried the Usos were going to go over. It's like same old stuff, different day, same old stuff. But they put Cesaro and Sheamus over, and they should have, and it makes sense. And you eliminate the New Day first. They're the first team eliminated on the Raw side. So it was a very interesting dynamic in the whole match. Crowd was really into it when Cesaro was on top. I will say that I think that it's just a matter of time before they fully turn Sheamus face. I know that there is the dynamic of one face, one heel, the odd couple mentality, but I think eventually they're going to turn Sheamus face.
Well, there is a clip on the YouTube thing where apparently he said something that even Cesaro was stunned by. So it might already be happening.
Wouldn't shock me.
Now,
For me, Sheamus is just one I don't buy as a face, kind of like Randy Orton.
Yeah, but for this time in his career, they kind of have to.
Now, quick question: with the elimination of the New Day right off the bat, doesn't this set up them losing the tag titles either at TLC or somewhere down the line in the 2017 pay-per-views?
They have to take Demolition's record first before they drop the straps. That's my prediction.
Oh, okay. All right.
You don't get this close to breaking a record like that without doing it.
How many more days do we have?
Ashley, you looked this up. How many days do we have left till the titles can change hands?
So about a month, I'd say.
Okay.
It's 450 something days, and I think Demolition's record is 478 or thereabouts.
Okay.
But basically, if it goes to Roadblock, they'll beat the record. But considering the plans for tomorrow, I'm wondering.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And one more question too before we move on. Owen, who are you predicting that they'll lose to?
Well, I mean, there's two options right now. Cesaro and Sheamus are a really good option at this point because they're the team that actually has the victory over them, so it makes sense. My out there pick is the Revival, but I think the Revival will end up on SmackDown because the Revival and the Good Brothers on the same roster doesn't really jive for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I do see it's time for the New Day to drop the titles.
Yeah.
It is past time for the New Day to drop the titles. Oh my god.
I think I have like a really out there prediction about who they'll drop the titles to.
Okay.
I think they'll drop them to the Shining Stars.
No.
Oh
no. And hear me out. WWE might want to be like, yeah, we want to give Cesaro and Sheamus the titles eventually. Let's have some fun with this, shall we? Let's do what we did with Charlotte and Sasha and flip the titles every other fucking week. And let's give everybody a 1 week title run, and then just give the titles to Cesaro and Sheamus at like Royal Rumble or something like that.
It's not going to be the only way the Shining Stars would ever get into contention is if Carlito came back to the company.
And see, Cesaro and Sheamus would be a good team to take the titles away from the New Day because Cesaro, I mean, even though the tag titles, I mean, yes, the tag titles are big titles in the company. I mean, Cesaro deserves at least a title. He deserves at least a title, like the tag titles. And with a tag partner like Sheamus, kind of a weird team, but I mean, but at least put a title on Cesaro. At least put it on him and let him hold it, at least I'd say, until maybe, like Ashley, you said Roadblock. I'd say maybe somewhere like at the Rumble, maybe until at least let Cesaro hold the title. At least let them hold the tag titles until Rumble, or maybe pre-show at Mania, maybe.
I would say right now, I would have New Day win tomorrow, Ashley. And once they win, I think you have Cesaro and Sheamus win a gauntlet match to give them that shot the night after Roadblock to break the record. To beat the team that broke the record that Demolition had. That's what I think. And then you flip the titles.
And then you see Sheamus do his, the face turn during that time, and they become a more cohesive team. It's the only thing that makes sense.
Exactly.
I think if it goes on anyone except like Enzo and Cass, we're going to hear a lot more delete chants.
I don't want Enzo and Cass to win the titles.
I don't either, but they're the only ones that won't get delete chants.
Well, there was a thing I heard that Cass wanted the Universal title.
Yeah, I heard they want to push Cass as a singles, and the thing is Cass isn't over enough to be a singles.
That's what I was going to say, though. It's like, having Cass as a singles, it wouldn't make sense right now. It does not make sense right now. So at least let Enzo and Cass be together until, Cass is ready, and then see where you put Enzo. Because I honestly don't know where Enzo, what happened with him if he went as a singles, but I think Cass would be a really good Universal, a big push as a champion if, they went ahead and did this now. But like you said, Owen, he's just not ready yet.
It's a long way down the line. Yes, Travis.
Can I do another WWE Network promotion real quick? It's actually really important.
Just as long as you don't mention Goldberg news, I'll bring that up later tonight.
I will not bring Goldberg up because I actually have not seen that yet, but I know what you're talking about, and sure. No, I was just scrolling through the WWE app, and it says WWE Network and Crunchyroll full offer details. New subscribers to both the WWE Network and Crunchyroll Premium may purchase a 3-month subscription to both the Network and Crunchyroll Premium for a discounted price of $19.98 for 3 months for both of them.
This is more of like a Wednesday comment, but I'm sure people would be very happy to hear that.
And this came out on the 20th. Is that today? No, that was yesterday.
It's officially 21st now, but yeah.
How did I not hear about this? I know everything with the WWE Network.
Yeah, sometimes.
Shit slips through my fingers. Oh, well. Continue, sorry.
Would you like to give your thoughts on this match real quick before we move on?
It was I think it's funny that the New Day got eliminated quick.
I'm not surprised.
Sorry about Breezango, but one surprise there.
I wasn't either, but I wasn't happy.
Neither was I, but
it's a fashion police alone.
Izzy, one more thing too from me, and then we can move on. Or if anyone wants to give their thoughts on this, when New Day loses their titles, could they be going back to that heel turn and be like, "Oh, we should have never lost the tag titles" or something like that?
No, they even basically said they're even going to keep them together, so they're not going anywhere anytime. They make too much merch money.
Really do.
Yeah.
They have Christmas and Halloween themed Bootios boxes now. Come on.
Oh man.
I have 3 New Day shirts, 2 boxes of Bootios, and I'm planning on buying the Pop Finals when they come out.
I got the WWE Slam Crate, and the Slam Crate had the New Day riding a unicorn kind of Pop Final figure.
Yeah, I saw that.
How successful is Pop Final? Like you got Marvel, you got WWE, you got Jack. What is this?
Yeah, it's true.
It's money. That's what it is.
Like,
Yeah,
why is there no competitors to this at all?
There's New Day Pop Rocks that are coming out soon with FYE. We talked about that on the WWE, the Wednesday Wrestling Podcast 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
So yeah, like the chocolate bars that are coming out, New Day's theme for that, and the Xavier Woods Up Down Down single shirt is coming out soon.
And freaking Xavier's doing his own career mode on Up Down Down. That's getting, like, I think it's, what is it at now? Let me see. It's at 124,000 views. It's been up for like a week.
But yeah, I mean, you're not going to split them up. I mean, I think that they're going to break the record. That's the only way, Ashley, I can see them being able to get away with having New Day win. Or you have some sort of interference and there's like a no contest. That's a possibility too. They never got their real rematch because either A, somebody got involved, or B, they got jumped in the back and they couldn't have their match, or C, it's just they decide to flip the titles before they break Demolition's record, and that kind of defeats the purpose given the fact they've been bringing it up so heavily.
I think they're going to still break the record. I mean,
they will.
If Vince likes to hold on to nostalgia, but there's so much money in New Day. I mean, just let them break the record and then, drop the titles. But as far as this match goes, this match was okay. I mean, I saw this match.
Good.
And I was shocked, like everyone else, that New Day went out first. Kind of gives them, an excuse for the right something in tomorrow, which we are tonight. That we already know that's going to happen.
Yep.
But yeah, it was weird to see the Usos at the end. I didn't. I think it should have been Heath and Rhino at the end against Sheamus and Cesaro.
If anything, it should have been American Alpha.
Or that,
yeah. Because what that whole ending was setting up is basically the people who will take the titles from the title holders now. So the Usos will take it from Slater and Rhino, and then Cesaro and Sheamus will take it from. Yeah.
We'll see.
Please no, because that would be terrible. SmackDown's doing so good. Come on.
That's my point, or that's what I think with the women. Bayley's probably going to take the title from Charlotte.
We'll see.
And then who was the last one with SmackDown?
Bliss.
Bliss will take the title from.
I've been saying that for months. So
yeah, we've been saying that for months and nothing. Right. And we also don't have new merch for Alexa. Like, come on.
She'll get it. Don't worry.
No, it's pissing me off.
She'll have it. Don't worry. She'll have it by TLC. Mark my words. So much shirts I'm gonna have to buy in a couple months. Anyway, does anyone else have any more thoughts on the matches before we move on to the Cruiserweight title match?
We don't need to move on to the Cruiserweight title match. We can just skip past it.
Oh, no, we don't. So it was the Brian Kendrick defending the Cruiserweight Championship against Kalisto. And if Kendrick lost, then the entire Cruiserweight division was going to SmackDown. We've already mentioned 205 Live is going to be filming after SmackDown, which is going to allow the people that get to go to SmackDown even more wrestling to watch.
It's before, not after.
Well, you're going to have main event, then 205 Live, then SmackDown. So, and then probably potentially a dark match. So you're going to have a really long SmackDown taping. Yay. Yay.
Bang for the buck.
All that money? Absolutely. So Kendrick goes for sliced bread number 2. Kalisto escapes. He goes for Salida del Sol, and Kendrick escapes. So one of the big spots in this match, like the big spot in this match, was when Kendrick got caught on the ring apron. and Kalisto hit the flux capacitor to the outside. And for those of you that don't watch Frankie Kazarian matches, he literally hit a one-man Spanish fly from the apron to the floor. Got the crowd back into the whole match. And kind of lost it again. When Salida del Sol went for it again, and Kendrick went to the eyes, and he took him off the top and had the captain's hook, and he rolls him in. He tries to keep it tight, but Kalisto gets the ropes. And Kalisto fires up at the end. He hits the grounded snap-rana, the Salida del Sol, and Kendrick gets the foot on the bottom rope. Heads up top, and Baron Corbin hits the ring and nails Kalisto. But before he hits Kalisto, he hits Kendrick first. So because he hit Brian Kendrick, Kendrick wins by DQ, which means not only does he retain the title, but the title and the show stays on Raw.
But you know what I think is going to happen?
Well, obviously we're building to Corbin and Kalisto at TLC. That's a no-brainer.
But I think, well, yeah, probably. But I think they're going to be like, okay, we're going to be fair about this. Or tomorrow night on Raw, they're going to be like, we're going to be fair. We're going to give Kalisto another chance. And we're going to invite him back to Raw where Baron Corbin cannot interfere. And then title changes to 205 Live.
I think that's pointless at this point. There's no reason to add an extra step to it. I see where you're coming from, but I wouldn't add an extra step because they've already went ahead and did that. I would say that Brian, after the match, was really mad at Corbin because Corbin went to the back and Brian was like, "What are you doing?" And Corbin's like, "I don't care. I do what I want." So because of that, I think Corbin's punishment is going to be he's going to face Kalisto in a Loser Leaves Town match at TLC.
And guess who's going to lose?
And then Corbin's going to lose.
No, Kalisto will lose.
Corbin will lose because the entire cruiserweight division will help Kalisto win.
But why would Corbin leave?
Yeah, just put him on Raw. Might as well.
There's so many big guys on Raw. They don't need more.
I like to do anything with them anyway. It's just cannon fodder for me to write more notes.
Every freaking, instead of the Cruiserweight Championship, you're going to have the Titans Championship?
Don't give Vince any ideas, Travis.
Oh, shoot, I forgot Vince watches this.
Yeah.
Him and Kevin Dunn are circle jerking each other right now.
God.
I forgot about that. Oops. Well, there you go, Vince. Make the Titan Championship.
There wasn't much to this match, really. I mean, it's got a couple really good high spots. Like I said, the Spanish fly off the apron was amazing. The finish is really interesting, given the fact that you've set up a couple of options to go with. It's going to be interesting to see what happens on Tuesday night. Does anyone have any more thoughts on this match before we move forward?
205 Live. That's all I'm saying.
Whit.
Yeah, I didn't like that interference.
Okay.
That made no sense to me why they would. Like, I know they're feuding and all, but just with the way they hyped that up, to have the interference with those stakes. Like, Baron Corbin's not good enough to be able to do what he wants like Brock Lesnar does.
It's just his personality, though, and that's been his mentality and his character ever since he got brought up to the main roster. Will, thoughts?
No, not really.
Scott?
I think with the interference, it spoiled it. It kind of ruined the match.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess it's better to have the interference now than rather later in the show, like a lot of us were predicting that could happen.
Right.
Which I have a point for later on that could have worked, but I'll get to that one. But I don't think if it's going to be a loser leaves SmackDown match on SmackDown, then I think what they should do instead of doing a loser leave SmackDown, they should just trade Corbin away and try to bring in, either a cruiserweight talent, like start picking the cruiserweights away from Raw, or they, can get a better talent than Baron Corbin, because obviously Brian is pissed. So, because there's always been rumors that ever since this draft happened, how can they do it that would be different than what the last time we had the split brands? And trading is the big one. Instead of contracts expiring, well, screw that, just trade. So
that's why the loser leaves SmackDown match makes sense to me, is because that way they don't have to initiate any trades, and they can save that for later on down the line if they want to do it for somebody else.
And it could also help during the build of WrestleMania too, because then you can really start, plucking away talent and making one show better. Even though we all know that SmackDown's the better show. So, so yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see what happens as far as the fallout goes. The match itself was pretty solid, but I didn't catch the big move that you said that Kalisto did. But I caught most of it because my stupid network on my phone kept on reversing and going back, and it pissed me off.
Right.
So yeah, there's my 2 cents.
Ashley? Okay. Ashley's not here right now. Fair point. We'll get his thoughts later. So we move on, and we progress to our next match. And our next match is our unofficial but official main event of the evening.
Easy match of the night.
Yeah. I still prefer DIY and the Revival 2 out of 3 falls from last night to this, but this match was delivered a lot more than I thought it would. So it's SmackDown's team of Shane McMahon, Dean Ambrose, Randy Orton, and Bray Wyatt of the New Wyatt family, and the SmackDown World Champion, AJ Styles, against, for some reason, Braun Strowman, Seth Rollins, sporting a swank shirt, which is half Raw and half his own.
So good.
Roman Reigns, most loved man in the building. Most over man in the building, Chris Jericho. And the Universal Champion, me and Will's good personal friend, Kevin Owens.
Okay, I told my
wrestler of-
dad about the Team Raw Survivor Series team. I told him every single member, and he looked at me and said, "You're kidding, right? What kind of combination of a Raw Survivor team is this?" And I looked at him and I was like, "I don't know." When I said Braun Strowman, he looked at me and said, "You're really joking, right?"
Yeah, if only we were. If only we were.
But oh my god, this was such a weird ass combination of a Raw team.
We'll get to that. James Ellsworth comes out first.
Yes.
JBL refers to Bray Wyatt as the Eater of Words.
You fucked up. You fucked up.
I still
Ellsworth. They were chanting like Goldberg to him. That was hilarious.
Here's the thing that really annoyed me. I brought this up in the women's Survivor Series match. I'm going to bring this up again. Why announce Dean Ambrose last? Why not announce AJ as last? Because he's the champion. He should be the leader of the team. But I guess it doesn't matter. So Shane's offense sucks. His punches are terrible looking. They just look so weak. I'm sure they sting, and I'm sure he could beat me up. That's not saying much. But I mean, they just look so weak. I really wish they could tighten up his offense. If he's going to do anything in the ring, I wish they could tighten up his offense so bad.
What was it that gave Jericho the bloody nose?
There's a lot of things that possibly could have been, honestly, as I look at my notes here.
I think it was outside the ring is when it happened.
It makes sense to me. Let's talk about some memorable stuff in the match. Rollins with the hit the ghetto blaster. Ambrose, of course, hits him with the Nigel. At the same time, Roman gets caught with the Pele kick. So at this point, AJ and Ambrose go at it, and Shane tries to play Peacemaker. And he breaks it up momentarily, but AJ nails him anyway. And Ambrose gets caught with Strowman's running power slam for the 3 count. Ambrose is the first one eliminated.
Damn.
That was crazy. Braun with an avalanche on AJ. But AJ gets caught, and Braun tosses him over the top rope, which looked dangerous as all get out. That could have ended really badly.
He fell really not right.
Yeah, that really would have ended. Welcome any man in the chat.
I was nervous anytime Seth was in the ring with AJ.
I'd be more nervous when Strowman's in the ring at this point. And he eats an RKO on the table, which doesn't break because it is the table. AJ rolls Shane in, and Braun ends up getting counted out because James Ellsworth holds the foot when Braun's trying to get back in the ring after Shane puts Braun through the table with an elbow drop off the top. So Braun chases Ellsworth up the ramp, and he grabs him. He tosses him off the stage through a table, which barely works. So he could have killed both AJ Styles and James Ellsworth, and that's immediate termination if that would have happened. Thankfully, it did not. We move back later on in the match. Jericho and AJ are legal. Calf crushers applied. Jericho slams his head in the back of the canvas in order to break up the maneuver. Walls of Jericho countered a small package for a near fall. Jericho gets caught with a Styles Clash, but he gets stopped. And Jericho gets tossed. Owens comes in, and after he basically grabs the list, and he nails him with the list, so he gets DQ'd. So because of that, he hits AJ with a pop-up powerbomb and leaves him laying. So at this point, Orton tags in, hits the RKO. Jericho's eliminated, so Jericho's now gone. So later on in the match, Roman gets a lot of shine after he tags in. Samoan drops for everyone. Orton, Bray, pop up one to AJ. Hits the Niagara driver. AJ kicks out at 2.5. So we move on later on. Shane has got Roman in the corner, and he goes for coast to coast. And as Anne Frank can see, the spear was what was going to stop this coast to coast. And that's exactly what happened. 1, 2, and what ended up happening was the referee stopped the count. There was no 3 count made, but yet they still announced that Shane was gone. And Shane got carted to the back and everything, so.
Here's my thought on that real quick. I think what happened was Shane was supposed to kick out, and Roman kind of, if you look closely, Roman kind of rolled him, which made him kind of look like, but you could clearly see in his eyes that his eggs were perfectly scrambled.
Oh, he got knocked for a loop for sure.
Oh, yes. He was out cold. Like, he just didn't know where he was.
I mean, it could have looked a lot more devastating than it did, but I mean, it still was a high spot for the match.
Well, it's kind of like when Enzo got his concussion. Like, in all honesty, that didn't look bad, but when you really watched it and saw his head bounce off that mat, that's all it takes.
No, that looked terrible. If you've ever.
Well, I mean, but he did hit the rope. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, it was a whiplash effect.
Yeah.
And the last time that happened in a wrestling ring, someone was killed. So yeah.
Right.
You guys talking about Shane?
Yes.
Yeah, he looked like he got severely
concussed, scrambled.
Yeah, he might not be on SmackDown.
He got carried to the back, but at least he walked on his. I mean, he walked on his own power. He was kind of like he wasn't dragged to the back, and he didn't do a stretcher job. He actually walked on his own power with help. So that's a good thing.
Unless it was a spot that was planned that was going to happen.
Well,
yeah.
Which could have been.
It definitely looked like Shane was wishing he was still running his Chinese Netflix.
Indeed.
He got wrecked, son.
After Shane's gone, we move on later in the match. Rollins has got the shine here. He goes for the superplex. He hits the superplex into the Falcon Arrow. Yes, Seth does the deal. Makes Owen happy. Orton makes the save. At this point, Ambrose comes out later on and
Making my night.
He attacks AJ, and then all of a sudden security come out, and then Rollins and Reigns fight off security. And they set up the Cerberus bomb on AJ, and we get a Shield reunion for one night only. Rollins tosses AJ in, pins him for a 3 count. We end with Wyatt's versus the Shield. How appropriate. Luke Harper shows up, and this goes for a while. Rollins hits the sling blade, tope con hilo to Luke Harper, roll up, hits a Vada Kedavra on Bray. Seth goes up for the frog splash. Orton turns into the RKO, and Bray ends up pinning Seth because he's legal. So Roman is now getting booed, like ferociously. Shock, surprise. Hits the drive-by, and he rolls him in. Spears Harper for good measure. Bray goes for Sister Abigail. He escapes, gets caught with Superman punch. Orton ends up shoving Bray out of the way. He eats the spear, and Bray finishes off Roman. Sister Abigail, 1, 2, 3. Crowd explodes, and Bray and Randy Orton are the sole survivors.
Can I be honest with you guys?
So much right with that for me.
Good.
I seriously love Randy Orton with Bray Wyatt.
Oh God, yes, it's perfect.
It's.
We know he's going to turn eventually, but
I don't want him to turn. That's the thing.
He will.
I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon because there's been a lot of speculation that Randy Orton was going to take some time off after Survivor Series. So it made sense that this is the way he went out if he's not going to come back for a little bit.
It's just he's a part of the Wyatt family now.
Yes, he is, and it works. It works really well.
It works really, really well.
He needs to stop shaving.
More well than like Perfectly Glorious or the Glorious 10 or whatever Ty Dillinger and Bobby Roode's tag team was for that one night.
That team was so over in that building. Oh my God, everybody was going nuts for it.
Just a little too over.
I basically was part of that, so I understand what you mean.
Just a little too over.
Solid ending here. I like the way they went, the direction they went with everything. I don't know why they beat Owen so fast. I liked how he didn't get pinned, so he didn't lose any heat, so that was good. AJ got taken out with a 3-on-1, so that's fine. I don't have a problem with that either. And everybody else got eliminated rightfully, so it worked. It worked just fine. Ellsworth was involved, but he didn't really. He set up an elimination, but he didn't really have to do anything to do it. I think that actually worked too.
Yeah,
I think it was pretty, especially the ending with Randy taking the spear instead of Bray.
That was perfect.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
Even though the match was a big clusterfuck.
Oh yeah, it was.
Especially like the last, I don't know, 25 minutes of it, because the first 15 minutes was pretty solid, normal Survivor Series, and then all hell broke loose, and then everything else. It was just, but I enjoyed it. I was pretty shocked that first of all Bray Wyatt won, but that's kind of like the
last pin.
Right, it's kind of like a big middle finger to the Shield, because that's how it was a few years ago at a Survivor Series. So it's kind of like the circle comes from full round, and the storytelling is getting there. I mean, and they can really make some noise if shit starts to pop off here, especially when we're going into Royal Rumble and the road to WrestleMania. So
I just gotta say that RKO, holy fuck!
Well, I mean, Ashley's not on here right now.
That was amazing.
It's been a long time since I haven't seen one coming.
Ashley was not on here right now. He's away. But I will say that he could back me up on this. And he's the only one that can back me up on this. He's the only one I was talking to at the time. When Rollins went up for the frog splash, Well, first off, I thought he was going to go Phoenix. And when he went up to the top, instead of going up backwards, I was thinking, okay, he's going for the frog splash. And I was like, Orton's going to RKO him out of this.
Yeah,
And
I knew it was going to be an RKO. It was just gorgeous.
Oh, it looked amazing, and it rightfully should. And I'll tell you right now, you're setting up another storyline with the fact that Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton were the survivors for the SmackDown team, and they're the only win SmackDown got when it came to the Raw versus SmackDown matches. So it makes me think that the direction we're going to get is Bray Wyatt is going to be able to face AJ Styles potentially on SmackDown Tuesday night.
That'd be
Oh my gosh, I got an idea for Wyatt family dominance. And it's disgusting.
Randy Orton and Luke Harper win the tag belts?
No. Luke and Bray win the tag belts. Bray wins the title. Randy wins the IC title.
They won't do that.
Crazy Mary comes to SmackDown.
Yes.
Beats Alexa.
Yes.
And Daniel Bryant rejoins to control all the management.
She'll beat Becky because she has
and they become the new authority, not authority, but Daniel Bryan comes back as not a wrestling member, but he's under the influence of the Wyatt family.
We've
already in the meantime, you trade Dean away to Raw. That way, Shield reunion can fully happen for a while,
and then
you build up for Shield
SummerSlam.
versus. Yeah,
I don't want this.
I really want this.
We already said it. Vince is already texting Kevin Dunn right now.
Right, I don't want this. Ambrose has been really stale for a while. If they put him back on Raw, I mean, that freshen up a little bit, I guess.
I just want him to be with the Shield. For me, this is what I am nostalgic for. That's how young of a fan I am.
For purposes of this brand split, they shouldn't have split up the Shield. They shouldn't split up the Wyatt family. And they really shouldn't have split up the Four Horsewomen. Because they literally fucked themselves on all three of those fronts. You could have had Shield Triple Threat at Survivor Series.
It was supposed to be at WrestleMania, and they changed their mind on it.
Exactly. Wyatt family turning on each other. Or half of them turn, Braun and Rowan turning, or not Braun, Rowan. Braun and Brian, and Bray turning on Rowan and the Harper. Sorry. But Harper got hurt, so that went out of the water. But with the Four Horsewomen, Bayley came up, and they're like, oh, cool, Bayley's coming up. Wait, she wasn't drafted. Okay. So she's not coming up. And then she comes up to the main roster. We're like, okay. And why is she on a different brand than Becky Lynch?
Well,
it would have made sense if Becky and Bayley or Becky and Sasha were on the same brand.
No, the problem is at this point is that Bayley has been so snake bitten by the way she's been booked. They're really going to have to scramble to save it at this point. Bayley is definitely not as over as she used to be. Number one.
Did you hear how over she was in freaking Scotland?
That's not a surprise. Other countries usually have different crowd reactions.
They literally had to edit that part out of Raw because it was so fucking loud.
And in Orlando, when we actually do see Bayley probably fighting for the title, it's going to be crazy. But not in every building, she's not going to get that kind of reaction that she should be getting because of the way she's been booked.
Well, here's the thing. Kevin Owens won't get the reaction that he got tonight until WrestleMania.
Depends.
Most likely.
I mean, it depends on what kind of an arena you go to. If you go to a wrestling town, or if you go to one of those middle America states that I'm gonna cheer the faces and boo the heels and stuff like that. So I mean, it just kind of depends, honestly, at this point.
Because you're gonna keep the list of Jericho at least until Royal Rumble.
Well, any man says Jericho's going to turn on Owens on Raw. I think it's going to happen eventually, but
I thought it was going to happen months ago, honestly.
I don't know if it'll necessarily happen right away. Unless we do the turn where... See, the weird thing is there's a way to do it where you could turn Jericho heel fully and turn Owens finally babyface. But I think the direction they'll go with this is they'll have Owens turn on Jericho, and then Jericho will basically be like, well, why did you turn your back on me? And Sami Zayn will be like, I told you it was going to happen. You should have listened to me. And he turns his back on everybody he meets. And then you do Owens and Jericho, and you have that as your program for a couple of months to get us into WrestleMania when Owens faces off against, hopefully, someone else at WrestleMania.
Hopefully Sami Zayn.
The rightful match of Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens when Sami Zayn out of nowhere wins the Royal Rumble. That's what I want to see happen. That's what
If Sami Zayn wins the Royal Rumble, I will not be shocked.
Nope.
So you don't want Demon versus
Finn Balor? Because Mick Foley was like, you earned this. You earn everything you get. And they could push him to not Roman Reigns status where he drops off halfway through the year, but push him to Roman Reigns status to where he eventually faces somebody for the title.
I've been saying this for years. Sami Zayn is the key to the next Bryan Danielson revolution.
Exactly.
If they booked him correctly, he could be the biggest babyface in the history of the company. And I think with him losing as much as he does, I think it makes sense in the long run that he out of nowhere wins the Royal Rumble. And the only people that pay attention are going to be the ones that think that he's going to win. Everyone else is going to think he's still the underdog. But then when he wins the Royal Rumble and he gets his title shot at WrestleMania and he points at a sign that says, me, you, ladder, Orlando, and we get Owens and Zayn for a world championship in Orlando, that's how it should be.
Well, and the craziest thing too is that it's working perfectly because with them booking the Alamo Dome for Royal Rumble,
yep.
You're talking about the biggest crowd that could possibly smark out when Sammy wins, and it will come across so well on TV that people are going to have to get behind him.
And Ring of Honor has had a lot of shows in the Texas market, so it would make sense that people are going to go nuts for it when it happens.
That sounds great, but who's Finn Balor facing at WrestleMania? If he's good.
Well, I don't even know if he's going to be back by then.
If he's back.
If he's back, he will face Bray.
That's a good possibility. That's a possibility, actually.
That would be nice.
The Demon King versus the Eater of Worlds.
That has a nice Marvel Comics ring to it.
Or
if he's able to work.
Or something that I would love to see, but he's too fucking old. Undertaker versus Balor.
That would be great, but I don't want Balor to lose.
No.
He wouldn't. It'd be a passing of the torch.
It would be the passing of the torch. That's exactly what it would be.
But I wouldn't do that with Balor.
I didn't consider Undertaker winning. If Undertaker won, that'd be good.
No, as we all know, because of what happened tonight, you don't go out winning.
Let's get to that. Let's get to that, shall we?
Well, that's what Undertaker said too. His legacy's not going to be built around WrestleMania. So whatever happens at WrestleMania it's it. Undertaker's done.
Yeah.
And the match against Cena has got to be the way it ends. It makes perfect sense.
I'm calling it now. Royal Rumbles is his last match, and it's Undertaker Cena at the Royal Rumble, not WrestleMania.
They will not do that at the Rumble. They can make way too much money at WrestleMania with Undertaker and Cena.
I know.
Now started to build up at the Rumble is a possibility.
Yeah, just have him come out at the end of the Rumble match.
Yeah.
Put his hat in the ring and say Cena. And then just cut away.
There's ways to do it, but we'll get to that later.
Chills.
Let's talk about the main event.
We just did.
Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
So
There's nothing to talk about.
Yeah, there is. The old WCW entrance with the security and everything, still wearing his old gear. The longer trunks, not the normal trunks. He's like the bikers he was wearing in his WWE run. The match basically starts. Spear comes off, hits another spear. Picks up Brock, hits the jackhammer. Done. 1, 2, 3.
Gotta get all the subtle details. That's spear. That's
no.
Looks at Paul Heyman and smiles.
You
then
missed it.
Spear.
You missed it, Owen. It was Goldberg's butt jiggled.
I'm not going that far.
Spear. Paul Heyman begs for Brock Lesnar's life.
No, not yet. Not yet.
Hammer. And then it's done.
No, you forgot. There's 2 spears.
I said 2 spears.
He said 2 spears.
Well, there's stuff in between the spears. His butt wiggles. Then Brock Lesnar sits up and smiles and looks at Paul Heyman. Then the second spear. Then Paul Heyman begs. Then the jackhammer.
Okay.
And then for some reason, Goldberg brings his kid in the crowd into the ring and
just shirtless. Shirt off.
That kid looked uncomfortable the whole time.
Kid is shirtless for some reason, and the match ends in 85 seconds, and then we go home at like 10:26 Eastern Standard Time.
Yep.
Okay. Let me bring up the news. It's Ashley dropped. He can't really say this, but I can say this now. It was just pretty much announced, and it's been confirmed. Bill Goldberg is going to be in the Royal Rumble.
He's not going to win.
Holy shit! Really? I didn't hear about this.
Goldberg, it just made a deal right after the show, and he's going to be participating in the Royal Rumble.
He's officially on Raw until the Royal Rumble.
So,
but he won't have. I don't think he'll have a match at Roadblock.
No, he won't. I think Goldberg shows up at the Rumble, and then I think he shows up at WrestleMania, and I think he's done. And then the next time that WWE has WrestleMania in Atlanta, they induct Goldberg.
Yes.
Wait, by in the Rumble, do you mean in the Rumble itself or just on the show?
In the Rumble.
Oh.
And I do think that now, when you say Mania back in Atlanta, maybe for 34?
No, I think 34 is Minneapolis, and I think that's when they put Rick Rude in the Hall of Fame. Deservingly so.
Oh, no. Have they announced where 35 is going to be?
No, Atlanta could be 35.
They announced 35 at 33.
Yeah.
With Goldberg.
What?
What are you talking
about?
34 will be announced.
But
34 will be announced before Royal Rumble.
Yeah, and it's going to be announced most likely in Minneapolis.
From Minneapolis, because Minneapolis had to pull their bid out.
Yep.
I don't know why. I think they thought that the stadium wasn't going to get done in time, which it actually did.
Right.
35 will be in Atlanta.
Yep.
Because Atlanta's building a new Georgia Dome.
Yep.
Yeah, the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, which if it does come back to Atlanta at 35, I will be like freaking.
I'll be there.
Finally getting Screaming Horror Nights.
Hey, Will, it's
next year.
They will either announce it next year like they've been doing with everybody and all that, like all the actual announcement, or they'll just say, Goldberg's here. He has something to tell you.
Oh man, I would love to see
WrestleMania. They'll announce it 2 years before.
And is there okay? And I think that the idea that I honestly think they'll do is I think WrestleMania 50 will have to be in the New York market.
It'll more likely be at MetLife again.
Not 50.
How big's Yankee Stadium?
Not big enough.
Not
Yankee
big enough.
Stadium? Let me see.
Not big enough. Okay.
It's like 42,000.
None of the baseball
that's not
stadiums are big enough for Mania anymore.
Yeah.
No, they'd have to do it at MetLife.
MetLife for 50 or you could charge billions of dollars and do it at Madison Square Garden, but that's too small. That's charge so much.
They won't. Vince already said that he won't do Madison Square Garden again for WrestleMania.
He also wants to do bowls.
Yes, he wants to do stadiums. So the perfect location will be MetLife for 50. We can pretty much predict what the next few WrestleManias are going to be. And then we did this on last night's show.
Yeah.
I said, so you got Orlando 33, 34 will be Minneapolis, 35
Atlanta.
makes sense for Atlanta now. 36, you can pretty much point the finger out west, either in the LA, San Diego area.
Rose Bowl.
Or, no, it won't be the Rose Bowl. It'll probably be the new stadium they're building for LA, for the Los Angeles Rams. That will be built by then. And then 38, you might point back to Miami or Orlando. 39, that one's up in the air. And 40, you can probably point towards maybe MetLife again.
Yeah, but okay, we're talking about all these future WrestleMania locations. What about overseas? I know this is going to mess up the times, but Vince is going to have to say, "Oh, I have more international payers that will pay to come overseas." He's going to have to learn. They're going to have to go over to like maybe Wembley Stadium.
WrestleMania 40 is at Wembley.
No, it won't happen.
You
ain't going to do it there.
No.
You might see it in a bigger college stadium. You might see it in Ohio for the 40th.
I'd say Ohio Stadium will get a
Or
WrestleMania
LSU.
in the next 10 years.
Or LSU. Any of the big college stadiums that have over 100,000 seating capacity. You bet your bottom dollar he'll be there. Because why not?
But we could talk about that another time, to be honest.
Okay, so going back to my point that I made earlier.
Well, didn't Triple H do that China thing a little bit ago?
Yeah, they had the Shanghai show there. Shanghai.
Depending on how well they do in China, if they can stay on the Chinese government's good side.
No.
There's a whole shit ton of people in China.
No.
There is, but
if they're gonna run any sort of venue like that, I see them running either the UK or Japan, and there's no other options.
Not China?
Yeah.
No.
They have that Olympic stadium that's just sitting around unused.
There is, but it's the time difference, and Vince is very stern on it.
Yep.
He doesn't like it. He doesn't want to run a show that starts at midnight local time in London for 7 o'clock Eastern time.
Like, okay, we're doing Wrestle Kingdom next year, and it's the first time we've done a New Japan pay-per-view, and we're going to start doing New Japan coverage next year. And when we do that, we're going to have really weird times that the Popcast is going to be on. So I'm pretty sure our live viewership is not going to be very good. Hopefully our archive one will be fine. And that's exactly how people will watch these shows. People in the U.S. are not going to be up at 2 o'clock in the morning to watch a show live.
No.
They will, but they won't. I mean, it's like the BCE show in Japan that me and Ashley and Travis, we all did. We had to
I
be
didn't
up
do
like,
Beast Super East.
I thought you did.
I wasn't around for Beast. My first podcast was Survivor Series last year.
No, you did. You've done a long ago podcast where it was in another country.
Yeah, it was Takeover
London. Yeah.
Yeah, that was at 5 p.m. Oh, yes. That was so late.
But it was 10 o'clock their time, so, that show ran till midnight.
Right.
So if you're going to do a major pay-per-view like WrestleMania, especially in London, let's say, at Wembley, you're talking, if they want, they're going to start it at, they have to keep the time standard right and start it at midnight, which is 7 o'clock our time.
Right.
So
the point is, we can discuss this all day long, but the fact of the matter remains, in 2016, Brock Lesnar got squashed on pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Goldberg is now 2-0 on Brock. There's no reason to do another match. If there would have been a win from Brock this time around, which what everybody predicted, I would have said there should have been a rubber match. But now there's no point. Goldberg will move on.
I just thought there was no way Vince would let the WCW guy beat his biggest guy.
Well, let's just be honest about that for a minute. Goldberg carried WCW and made WCW at the time.
That's why.
But he also came over. He was one of the few that still switched to WWE when he bought WCW. So there's got to be some sort of respect.
It took a while for him to come over, though. He wasn't one of the
But he still came over.
Yeah, it took a while, though.
Can Travis hop in about the Goldberg match?
Let's get this discussed so we can take it home.
Okay, Goldberg match. There's one word that describes this match, and it's not soft. It is.
I like what they did. It was kind of a humbling experience for Lesnar fans tonight. I thought that was funny. Ashley mentioned something, which since he's off now, I can say this because he's not going to be able to. He said something about Goldberg possibly winning tonight because Lesnar might be going back to the UFC.
No, he's not going back to UFC. UFC cannot pay him enough money to keep him for more than one time.
Because I know Ashley said something about he's going to be at the Rousey fight.
Well, who wouldn't be at the Rousey fight?
He's not fighting at the Rousey fight. He might be there.
I didn't say he was fighting, but if he's there, then maybe cooler heads can prevail, and who knows, maybe he'll fight again.
What's the name of the person who runs UFC?
Dana White.
Yeah, he's probably not happy at all about that.
Yeah, Dana White's not going to have someone who lost to, how old's Goldberg?
50 or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He doesn't want...
He makes Brock look like a chump.
Yeah, that's why Brock beat, who did he go against at SummerSlam? Shit. Oh my god, I'm drawing a blank.
Cena?
Randy.
Brock didn't go against Cena.
Orton, he destroyed Randy Orton.
He destroyed Orton because
Orton.
of UFC 200.
I don't know. I guess
they both took synergy from that, and they actually both advertised for that.
Right.
UFC got to advertise for SummerSlam, and then WWE advertised UFC 200 way before UFC started advertising for SummerSlam.
Right.
Well, like I said,
UFC probably is laughing right now because they're like, haha, you lost to a 50-year-old man. You could have been over here making $2.5 million a match, but yet in WWE you're only making like $1 million.
The funniest thing is that I think UFC doesn't really care.
No.
Because they know the background of WWE. We know it's staged. But we'll still be on a show like this and bitch or complain whenever a guy loses.
Yeah.
But here's the point I think I didn't really say. I think this match was a plan B because I would bet my bottom dollar that Shane was supposed to interfere.
Potentially.
No. Why would Shane?
Because there's already a story between Shane and Brock. So to get back at Brock, Shane would interfere and cost the match for Goldberg to win. This was a plan B. Goldberg was going to win either way, but I think since Shane got his, scrambled, they had to pull the trigger on plan B because it just wouldn't work out. Shane stumbling out, while he's still concussed.
So you're telling me that it would set up a match between Brock Lesnar and Shane McMahon. That's stupid.
Well, that's funny, Travis.
That's almost as
already been
unrealistic as Goldberg versus Brock.
They've already mentioned that. They've already mentioned that being the option.
That's dumb. Shane McMahon.
That's not dumb. Shane went against Undertaker.
And it's because...
And that was dumb, too.
But it was a great freaking match.
Not
it was.
really.
That
The only
Tascam
high
stuff was
spot of the
great.
match was the jumping off of the cell.
Yeah, but then the killing point of that high point was when you saw the airbags.
Yeah, you saw the airbag.
But you could tell, if you really paid attention in that match, you could see Undertaker did not want to continue the match. The story behind it, the story through the match, Undertaker didn't want to do it. Vince forced Undertaker to do the match against Shane.
Yeah.
So, and Shane's always had bigger balls than his dad. So, why not Brock? It would bring Vince back out from behind the curtain. Because
No.
Vince would go like, no, you can't do this. Or Vince would go like, fuck it, you're going to get it.
That'd be a great, easy way for Brock to win, to try to look like a bit less of a bitch.
And it might make Stephanie do a heel, or a face turn because she doesn't want to see her brother get destroyed.
No, Stephanie's not going to go. The closest you're going to see to that is what's going on right now. This is the
with the
closest.
Triple H.
Yeah,
I
it's the
think you'll
closest you're going
have.
to see Stephanie as a face.
I think if they do that, you'll have Vince set it up because Vince still just hates Shane for no reason.
And just wants to see SmackDown get destroyed.
But
Yeah.
we're getting way ahead of ourselves. We won't find out any of this.
Talking about WrestleMania.
We won't get. Yeah, I can't wait for good reason. But the thing is, Royal Rumble time. Once the Royal Rumble is over, then we can really be on the real road to WrestleMania. Then we can really find out what direction we're going. Right now, we're just spitballing.
When does sign pointing season officially start?
Rumble. After the Royal Rumble, we point to the sign. And then everybody points to the sign on Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah.
Yep.
They point to the sign.
Charlotte will start pointing to the sign. Becky will start pointing to the sign. John Cena will start pointing to the sign. Breezango will start pointing to the sign for no goddamn reason.
Everyone points to the sign.
My left testicle will start pointing to the sign. Everyone will start pointing to the sign, man.
Fans that are in the front, that are in the top of the building, but the Royal Rumble will point to the sign.
Hey, it's in Orlando. HHN's Twitter, Chance and Jack, they're going to start pointing at the sign.
HHN Bear is going to point at the sign.
Yeah. Everyone's pointing at that sign.
That would be amazing.
I don't think Jack and Chance are going to have to point at the sign, if you know what I mean. So there you go.
You sneaky
And
that's my WrestleMania side.
And Owen gets the last word as always. So, once again, I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. We had a long, really involved conversation. It was nice to have Ashley on for a while. Unfortunately, he had to drop out. I guess he had some technical issues. You can follow him on Twitter at AshIsMyNameUK. You can check out his content and the other great content on the SNS Radio Network at snsradionetwork.com. Gaming with Ash should be up in the next couple of days. And, of course, we'll be returning to our final day of Papa's Wrestling Weekend, our short Papa's Wrestling Weekend tonight for Raw. As soon as Raw is over, we'll go live. Cleveland popped on for a moment. You can follow him on Twitter at ControCleve, and you can check out his YouTube channel as well under Cleveland Henry. So, real quick, I do want to we'll start at the beginning, throw a shout out to one of the newest members of the Elite, and that is Whit. So, Whit, where can we find you on social media?
I have no idea. I don't even know what my social media things are. I'll figure it out.
Funny.
That's phenomenal.
Like I never use it.
Follow Whit on Twitter at JediWhit82.
There we go. Yeah, basically, this isn't my real first podcast. I'll make that be the Horror Nights one. Because I care about Horror Nights so much more than I care about wrestling.
Understandable.
I was the same way, and then Alexa Bliss came into my life.
Once again, I also want to throw another shout out to another new member of the Popcast Network, and that would be Great Traveling Scott. Scott, where can we find you on social media?
Find me Great Traveling Scott. That's GR, the number 8, TRV. TRVLNSCOTT, and I just botched the hell out of that.
Matthew, get on
and then I'm on Facebook.
Good job, Kane.
Matthew, get on that. And we had a little homecoming tonight for some of the old guard of the Popcast Network and welcoming them back with open arms. So, Will, where can we find you on social media?
Oh, you can find me on the old Twitter and Instagram at HHNDog.
Oh my god.
DAWG. Yes, the pack is still running wild. And also, probably the link to my YouTube channel is probably in my in the description bar down below. Check out all my Halloween Horror Nights videos, and my Halloween Horror Nights videos are coming back in January, so stay tuned for that. And Owen, thank you so much for bringing me or for welcoming me back tonight. The wrestling, I've been so busy with school and everything, I just haven't had time, but I'm real glad I could have time to come back on tonight and to talk about Survivor Series tonight, which probably wasn't my favorite Survivor Series, but you know what? We'll have to see what next year brings. But thank you guys.
And finally, last but certainly not least, we have Travis.
It's a little surreal coming back. It's just everything didn't line up into place whenever Owen got back from Horror Nights with school and all that, and
right.
I was trying to focus on getting my podcast back to where it was, and things happened and got lost in the shuffle and all that stuff. But I'm back. I want to thank Owen for allowing me to be on tonight. Just wanted to speak about minutes of Goldbergness, which should be a new segment on the Popcast Network, is Minutes of Goldbergness. And it's just Goldberg just saying ass whooping for a minute and a half.
With his really, really bad Georgia accent.
Ass whooping. Anyway, there's a lot of big things coming up for me. First was the convention I went to last week. I posted the interview that I had with a guy from a comic book company who he likes wrestling, and we talked about wrestling, and he actually said Paul Heyman will never take a bump ever again. That next week, Paul Heyman got speared by Goldberg on Raw. I called him. I said, "Told you so," and I hung up. And then I also played 2K17 against Bishop Stevens from The Walking Dead, which that was really cool. And then coming up in December, I'm actually flying to California in December, duh. But for Christmas to see my sister, I'm going to Disneyland, which is going to be fun. And there's talk of me possibly going to Orlando for WrestleMania, which that would be very fun. I would love that, because if Undertaker Cena happens, or hell, if Undertaker Balor happens, I kind of want to be there.
The Demon versus the Dead Man.
That's the way to book it. I am just saying, the Demon versus the Dead Man, the passing of the torch. Just make it happen.
I mean, it should have happened back when Bray was there to be the next spooky dude.
But
there's still hope.
Along with the theme park podcast, I've started getting into not like wrestling podcasts like this, but like kind of short recaps of what happens and live reactions of it. Like I did a live reaction of Survivor Series tonight. And that went pretty well. There's a lot of dead air because it's just me, but it went pretty well because you hear my reaction to Goldberg winning in 1 minute and 24 seconds. It's like, wait, what? What was that? That's it?
That's all it took?
Okay.
I had a buddy call me like right after the match was over, and I hung up, or I canceled the call and texted him. I was like, no, not yet. I was like, I'm waiting to the end, like the end when WWE flashes up the right, all rights reserved. I'm like waiting. Come on, something's gotta happen.
With all of that aside, you guys can find me on Twitter at Travis Coaster, and you can find my YouTube at the Coastercasters Podcast. And that's it.
All right. One big shout out to Lady Luck and any man with two hands in chat tonight. I'm not saying the rest of it. Say the rest of it. So, as always, follow the network on Twitter at Popcast Network. Check out our Zazzle store, merch available, Popcast Network. Some new stuff coming very soon, so stay tuned for that. We have a Facebook fan page. It's under Popcast Network. And you can follow me if you'd like. It's at Throw and Disney on Twitter. Real quick, let me throw out a little bit of programming notes. So, later this week, tonight, actually, we have the Raw Popcast at 11:15 p.m. Whenever Raw's over, we'll go directly live. Afterwards, we have the Wednesday Wrestling Popcast at 9 p.m. talking all things Ring of Honor, crowning 2 new Ring of Honor World Television Champions over the UK tour this weekend. So yeah, we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about ICW, Fear and Loathing 9. Looking forward to talking about that. I watched a little bit of that with Ashley. We're going to talk Impact. We're going to talk NXT. We're going to talk about Lucha Underground, all sorts of wonderful things in the Indies and in Japan. That's going to be on Wednesday night at 9 p.m. We have a lot of cool content coming. And this Friday night, 9 p.m., set your timers, fans. Our final Halloween Horror Nights 26 podcast, where you will meet the new elite of the Popcast Network. So stay tuned. We're going to have some fun. Mark my words. So that being said, once again, I want to thank you guys and girls out there for joining us tonight, whether live or in archive. And in a world where there are a billion wrestling podcasts, it pleases us very much so that you chose a podcast. I want to thank everyone for watching. Thanks, everyone, for listening. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all we got to say about that.
Goldberg, go.